It's gonna be, we're all in the real world now, and time will be moving forward. It's gonna be Boomie and Remy, Blood Diamond and noeL. This is gonna be the real game one. I believe no one's told me otherwise. Boomie and Remy of Skyward versus noeL and Blood Diamond of Kingdom Esports.
3, 2, 1, brawl.
And we're immediately seeing Boomie go to the left side of the stage. You know he wants that weapon pickup. There's a weapon pickup on each team. Remy stayed back and got the blue teams. noeL stayed back and got the red teams.
Boomie has yet to pick up a weapon. Usually when you're the one who goes aggressive onto the other team's weapon spot, nice, quick black hole, ends up finishing off with a side sig. Doesn't even matter they picked up Remy. They're turning around onto noeL side sig again.
There's two!
Clean. Couldn't get the third one.
Gosh, they didn't waste any time. They didn't even wait for them to proc into the red. Holy Lord, Boomie and Remy. I guess, I don't know if the servers needed to breathe for a second, but Boomie and Remy getting a chance to breathe. Oh my gosh.
Yo, the clock struck high noon, and they drew first, and they got both first bloods onto both of their opponents, and they're only in the red. That side sig lands onto 3 people, takes down 1. Boomie goes deep, but ends up coming back safe. Wants to ground pound onto noeL, but noeL with that bow, that's a dangerous spot. Boomie doesn't even care.
And here comes Remy. Remy was there to answer the call to come in and help Boomie. Nothing was converted off of it, but both of them were safe from it. And Boomie turns around, gets a kill. Blood Diamond on his last stock. Boomie has 3 kills now.
Mine drops. Boomie still alive. He might be dominating, but can he convert that into more? Can he get the hot 5? noeL gets a sidelight, wants to turn around onto Remy, get the power play, but Remy, he's just playing so safe, not giving any sort of black hole potential to the red team.
Boomie just immediately came in with that hammer recovery. He pulled it off a little bit early. That actually might have killed noeL. He might have gotten another kill, but noeL is going to get a downlight Sarah right there. Just the simple bread and butter sword combo.
And they weren't able to convert out of the power play onto Remy. You saw noeL gets a neutral light, but Blood Diamond had a bow in hand. Couldn't follow up with a neutral light. He wanted the ground pound onto Remy, but noeL had some kind of awkward presence onto him. Couldn't help out, and instead, Remy survives till just now. Gets caught by the side stick. Blood Diamond in the red, though. Boomie wants to finish it off and go to the 2v1 where they can just go to Black Hole City.
After that just completely lights out start to this game, we saw Boomie and Remy kind of get a little bit greedy. They got a little bit over aggressive, but at this point they really can afford it. noeL's in the red on his second stock. He's almost on his last stock. That nair on the right side below the main platform was able to kill off the top.
Ooh, but noeL going unarmed, wanted the gimp. We saw it work out for Cody Travis. Boomie gets back up, got the wall touch, he's safe. You saw Remy kind of try to position, try to give some presence to make sure that noeL's not getting all this damage for free. And at the end of the day, even if noeL had gotten that gimp, Boomie still got an extra stock to his name.
And that's why Boomie is playing so low. Boomie wants to play low down there. He has the stock to burn, and he wants to get that gimp on a noeL.
He can 100% afford it, but can't quite afford just taking random damage from his teammate without trading out. You want to get those trades bare minimum in this 2v1 situation. Gets a nice stomp side air off the weapon toss. noeL on the side gets caught by the side stick, just dipping over the edge. That is going to be a clean win for Boomie and Remy, and they've got to avoid the black holes.
And Blood Diamond, with those black holes, led to such early kills. Blood Diamond taken out first. He did 151 damage. That is like just getting into red. That's not even necessarily a full stock. That is just getting into red. And we're going to see Blood Diamond switch to the Bodvar.
He wants a little bit more defense, doesn't quite care about the dexterity. Instead, he's going to just get a little bit more survivability, or just, you know, copy the enemy team. It's going to be Bodvar and Koji versus Bodvar and Koji. Blood Diamond, they've got to just avoid the black holes. Boomie doesn't have a sword in his hand, but the second he picks one up, it's going to be dangerous.
I mean, even aside from the black holes, after those 2 black holes started...
Oh, they're getting one.
Boomie and Remy just completely dominated the game. They dominated the 1v1, they dominated the 2v2, and of course they dominated the 2v1.
But now we're seeing them kind of go back to a more neutral game. They're just putting each other on each side, but noeL got caught, ends up just turning around and finishing off. Whoa! Miscommunication. noeL had the black hole, but he threw it away.
noeL just, I don't think that Blood Diamond called for the black hole fast enough. I don't think noeL recognized the possibility for it fast enough. I think he was just throwing his weapon so he could pick up the weapon and starve the field.
He was thinking about the weapon starve. It was just unfortunate timing for the red team. But regardless, they've got a little bit of an advantage. Blood Diamond is pretty fresh on his stock. noeL has a little bit of a health advantage over Remy. They just need to take down the stock of Remy to continue on this stock advantage. Down Sig! That'll do it. But a black hole onto Boomie. Neutral Sig! And the stock advantage is definitely in the red team's favor now.
Nice turnaround neutral Sig from Blood Diamond there. We've seen a lot of people recently, every time they've gone for the neutral Sig kill, they've missed it. And they've dropped it. And I don't know why you would go for that over like a side Sig. The side Sig is it just seems easier. It has a more generous hitbox down there on the ground when you actually want to hit it.
Well, it's not necessarily that it's a generous hitbox. It's just that off of the neutral light, your hitbox is going directly alongside that force vector. They're going in that horizontal angle, and that side Sig, it's a little bit easier to hit. But I guess he wanted the neutral Sig, wanted a little bit of verticality to that kill. Regardless, he ends up getting it pretty cleanly. But Blood Diamond, he's getting knocked into the red.
On his last stock, Remy's finally gonna fall. Stock, I guess the stock buff is in terms of noeL and Blood Diamond being on the better end of that right now. Remy and Boomie both on their last stock, both reasonably fresh though. We're seeing Remy's bow play coming in now, but he down Sigs.
Oh, but
Boomie,
noeL!
And noeL comes in and kills Blood Diamond. Just a kind of goofy switch turn of events right there that happened.
But we're seeing noeL, he's respecting black hole potential, almost recovered into that weapon toss. Remy not able to put enough pressure out. noeL is gonna get the wall touch, survive, dodge around, hasn't been touched. There's a down air. Edge guard, ground pound, that'll do it.
Just a nice jump ground pound. And I would say I want to see noeL play a little bit in the air, kind of floaty right now, just to avoid Boomie and Remy. But every time I've played Boomie recently, he's punished me so hard with the sword recovery. It's such a good air tool. And is noeL gonna turn this around? Boomie's able to get it back. Sorry, Remy's able to get it back.
It's the 1v1. noeL's got the health advantage. Gets a solid punish. That was an interesting option. I think he was expecting Remy to jump after the side light. Regardless, he still was able to pick up the neutral air. He's got health to burn, but at the same time, if he over aggresses, he might get caught, end up making a mistake. He's putting himself between Remy and a mine. That is not the most favorable position.
I think noeL thinks he has the health advantage there, so at that distance, he's not going to be sword neutralized or side lighted into the bomb.
Oof. Ooh.
There he will be, though. He was real lucky there.
Look, was noeL. He had the health advantage, but he's kind of giving it away. Every single mistake that he makes, just going for the positioning where Remy he's getting punished, and the health, it's evening up. The advantage is going away. At this point, the next big signature could finish it off.
I think it's just an issue right now of he's waiting for Remy to make the mistake so he can punish with a signature, but we don't see a lot of Koji's kill with sword signatures. We tend to see bow neutral sigs, we see bow side sigs and bow down sigs. We don't really see a lot of kills from the Koji sword sigs, except maybe the neutral when it's high in the air.
Oh, noeL wanted to cover the wall. He got up to the touch. He's going to be able to survive. He had the punish opportunity. Could have side sig that down sig. That'll do it. That side sig connects. And it's like you were saying. It's the bow signatures that end up being the finishers.
That nice roll into the side sig. It's so hard to kind of read the startup animation of that side sig and see it coming to avoid it.
And Blood Diamond said 5 defense is not enough. Goes to 8 on Sir Roland.
I love a Roland switch. I love a Roland switch. If everybody played Roland in 2v2, as a fan I would hate it, but as a caster I would absolutely love it. Everybody play Roland.
The bow plays from Blood Diamond, they're not necessarily working out. The hammer play, I don't remember a whole lot of hammer play from Blood Diamond in game 2. So just stick with the sword theme, keep ratcheting up that defense, and you're gonna wind up on Roland with the sword in hand already.
And both games, first and second, Blood Diamond was the first to die. forcing noeL into the 2v1. One of the times he won, or sorry, one of the times he lost, and then the 1v1 he won, but still, Blood Diamond was the first to die both games.
We're already seeing that the defense is nice, but at the same time, you can't afford to be taking so much damage. He's the one in the red already, able to avoid the down stick, but both of them try to punish with a neutral light, and it ends up adding more damage onto Blood Diamond.
And Blood Diamond looking to come in with that lance. He's only able to actually get any damage when throwing it. He was throwing out nairs, covering his hitboxes, but Boomie and Remy were just overspacing it and then punishing.
Oh! noeL, that was almost a bait kind of play. He wanted to position towards Remy. Boomie wanted to punish noeL for doing it. Ended up just catching his teammate with the side air. But solid play from Boomie to save his teammate with a nice recovery. Is keeping Remy alive on his first stock. Side sig takes him down. Boomie gets caught by the dare. Not enough to finish off just yet. That'll do it. And the stock advantage is in the way of noeL and Blood Diamond.
And there's noeL going to chase down the edge guard and confirm the kill, while Blood Diamond was immediately back up on the main platform, ready to strip the field and ready to attack after the spawn.
We're seeing Blood Diamond. He might have 8 defense, but he's not. He should be playing like he's got 3 defense, knowing that he's got 8. He should just be avoiding as much damage as possible, but he's getting caught into the double dare from Remy, and Blood Diamond gets taken down. Huge stock advantage for Boomie and Remy. Normally when it's this close, noeL! Oh, that was close. Oh.
In less than a minute and 45 seconds, Blood Diamond is on his last stock. That is far too early for a 2v2. That is far too early if you're Sirolin.
We're seeing noeL is able to put pressure out, takes down Boomie, keeps the stock advantage even. Nice black hole. Neutral heavy, doesn't finish it up. Remy goes high. noeL, I like that he used the bow for it. Bow has a lot of aerial upward movement with that recovery or that nair, but it pulled the trigger a little bit early and not enough to finish off Remy. Oh! The nair pickup. That was a solid follow-up from Remy off the neutral light.
Yeah, that was it put both players in the air, both players in a position where they're going to have to recover to get back on the platform. noeL and Blood Diamond are red, so that forces them into the position they might tunnel vision and just completely follow a predictable path back down to the platform to reset jumps.
Blood Diamond needs to survive. Boomie gets a dare, gets a nair. Double kill for Boomie. noeL has to fight the 1v2 again. Remy's in the red. noeL's got this bow, one Sair.
With that double kill, Blood Diamond is out of the game yet again. It doesn't matter how much defense Blood Diamond has. He is still the first to die. He is still the first to force noeL into this do or die situation. This is game 3. noeL has to win here. And I just don't see how he's going to do it. Remy is in the red, but it doesn't even matter how much damage Remy has, because Boomie is going to follow up on that edge guard and get the kill. Blood Diamond put out 269 damage.
Great team play from Boomie and Remy. Blood Diamond, he just couldn't quite find his footing. Roland, Bodvar, Koji, regardless, he had the sword, but he just couldn't do enough with it. I don't know how to state it other than he just got caught a lot.
And some of that is him dropping the ball, yes, but also some of that is, like, Boomie and Remy are just a really good 2v2 team. They are one of the strongest 2v2 teams in North America, much less the world. They won the Rivalcade 2v2. They've placed high in other 2v2 competitions. And it's just, Boomie and Remy are such a strong team.
Yeah, not to discount what they were doing. They had some great follow-ups. We saw towards the latter parts of the stocks that, I mean that entire last stock, Boomie just followed up off Remy. Remy would get a hit. Boomie was up top, followed up, got a nice side light. Then off the edge, Remy went up high, and Boomie just caught him with the sider. Just very strong synergy from the Boomie and Remy team, and they're going to be continuing on. But next, we've got Soup and Pugsy versus Arkosh and Jellyfish.
This, based on what we saw from eggsoup earlier, I think he's just a drama queen, and he's faking that he was ill, and it's all just a marketing ploy on Twitter.
Hey, I mean, it's all about those hot tweets, right? He got the 2 hours of sleep tweet, right? Now he's got the I'm sick tweet. Every tournament, Eggsoup's gonna have something else. Next one, his hand's broken. Calling it now.
He's just setting up for the Johns if he loses.
Johns.
It's the premeditated Johns.
But we're gonna be going in. Arkosh, I didn't even think about the fact that he's on Cassidy.
Every Cassidy that we've seen has had, I think, little to no luck in the games. We've seen Daiku play Cassidy and get utterly destroyed.
Alright, we're okay. Sorry. He didn't move, and I wasn't sure if that was another, like, high noon situation. Maybe he just, took a sip of water while the game was starting up. But continue on with your thoughts. Sorry about that.
I haven't seen anybody have real success with Cassidy, even though she's an extremely strong character. Of the light attack, she has one of the best hammers in the game. I think her SIGs are where her hammer falls short. Her guns are amazing. She has incredible gun signatures that cover both sides, that cover multiple approach angles. The down signature covers both sides. The neutral signature sort of covers both sides in the air. The side signature covers the side approach as well as the angle 45-degree approach. But
you were discounting the down sig, but Arkosh just hit it there with the hammer. Everybody's getting close to dead. Still no stock finishes off. Arkosh might have just taken down his teammate. That cider will give the double, and the stocks are still going to be even.
The down signature of all things. Of all things, and I think it's because nobody expects the hammer down signature.
No. Expect the unexpected. Jellyfish. Arkosh, stop staring your teammate. Jellyfish is the only one still on his first stock. He's got to extend that first stock as long as possible. Oh, but that was a really double up onto Arkosh.
That was a great team combo. Arkosh had the neutral light and Jelly jumped over and followed up with the Sair. But then there was just team damage, and then Egg and Pugsy just did better team combination right there. They just had better follow-up, better synergy, better teamwork.
That was just absolute abuse of the fact that Jellyfish was far on the left side, Arkosh far on the right side. They went for the 2v1, knocked Arkosh off the map, and by the time Jellyfish was in position, he ended up over-positioning. Eggsoup just gets a nice ground pound onto him.
And Egg was looking to follow up with that recovery, bringing Arkosh ever higher into the sky, looking for maybe a nair finish up, even though it's not a true combo. But then Jelly came in, put some pressure out, saving his boy from maybe certain death with that gun recovery and taking out Egg.
Ground pounds from Jelly. He had success against Magma Bomb in the 2v1. That down sync, it's Lucian 101 edge guarding. You see the same thing from Scarlet side sigs or the Nash down sig, but for some reason nobody is expecting Jellyfish, and that nair sends eggsoup into the mine.
You see it with a Scarlet Hammer side sig as well. It just kind of peeks over that corner and covers a little bit down below the edge of the platform.
Sometimes the most standard thing is the least expected thing, especially out of someone out like Jellyfish and Arkosh, where they love to go for those stylish plays. They love to do the wonky stuff. He ends up neutral or recovering his teammate. I mean, I can't blame him. There's 3 people there. Pugsy bombs his teammate.
The accidents that are happening, there's never just one accident that happens. When there's one accident, there's gonna be another. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Uh-oh.
Did he not have a dodge?
He burned it. He burned it to avoid the side air from Pugsy, but then he just kind of panicked. He got a side air onto Pugsy, couldn't get the speed dodge off the side air. Instead, I would have liked to see him kind of go for a weapon toss into a dare, but regardless, he's still got the stock advantage or the health advantage. Pugsy is in the red, but you're going Katars against Sword. That's a hard matchup.
But you are going Katars on the wall right now, and a Sair ricocheting off the wall could kill. A recovery certainly could kill at this point. Of course, with Lucian, you have to worry about signatures after signatures after signatures.
Jellyfish, he's just going with the weapon mix-ups. Gets a nice neutral light, throws away the weapon, goes to guns, throws away the weapon, goes to Katars, throws out a signature. We're going to probably see him throw again. There's the throw. Can't pick up the guns, though. Weapon starving from Pugsy. Side heavy.
I think Pugsy was looking for the dodge through read there, or maybe he was looking for the dare to go over his head and into that sword neutral light, and Jellyfish stayed back just enough so he could start that unarmed side sig. That was from the right side of the map on a 4-force Lucian attacking a Bodvar. That shows how much damage Pugsy had on him and how long he was able to extend that stock even though he died. And Pugsy Pugsy switching to a Surrey. This is the mark of a washed player right here. Every time a Bodvar player or another character player switches to a Surrey, it usually doesn't go well.
Well, he's got to have something in mind. We saw the guitar play from Jellyfish work out, and well, it's just, yeah, they still got sword. I don't remember a whole lot of Pugsy's hammer, so why not go for something a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more potential by way of just pressure as they're going for the 2v1 again onto Arkosh, but Arkosh is going to make it back with help from Jellyfish. Jellyfish is just swinging every direction.
And Egg is looking to follow up. There's a downlight Sayer. You're not going to kill Lucian quite yet with that. The low force of Val. Pugsy and eggsoup are a little bit ahead right now. Jellyfish and Arkosh very red. Pugsy and eggsoup just about to get into the red. Pugsy with those Katars looking to chase Arkosh into the air. He's looking to completely overspace the guns and not put himself in danger. We see 2 kills coming out for Pugsy and eggsoup. Arkosh and Jellyfish both falling, coming in fresh off their second stock. Pugsy's still in reasonable territory right now. He's not completely in the red yet. Egg's gonna fall. Pugsy's gonna have to deal with an edge guard, but Arkosh looks a little bit afraid to go in on a Pugsy.
Well, it's Katars on the wall, right? You don't want to overcommit and then suddenly find yourself in a gimp potential when you can just play standard, pick up a dare on the top of the map, ends up taking down Pugsy, and we're seeing the stocks completely evened up. We're seeing Arkosh, he's sticking with his hammer, but not huge hammer plays, not a lot of, you know, stomp, sidelight, speed dodge chasing, no big hammer plays that we're used to seeing from Cassidy's. Just standard weapon toss setups.
I think some of that is just in 2v2, by going into those huge strings that traverse across the map, you're putting yourself in a lot of danger, especially against Pugsy and eggsoup, who are known for having incredible 2v2 presence of mind and rotation capabilities. You're putting yourself in danger.
Jellyfish is the one in the most danger right now on the right side. Ends up getting a nice pop-up cider. Neutral sig onto Pugsy. Throwing out more neutral sigs, but eggsoup gets underneath. Punishes, but it's got the wrong force vector. Ends up sending him to the corner where he's got the most room to come back.
And with Egg and Pug getting deeper into the red, Arkosh and Jellyfish have a little bit of a lead. And as I say that, eggsoup is going to get the kill onto Jellyfish. Pugsy looking to get the kill onto Arkosh very quickly.
Oh, they turned around, wanted the black hole onto Jelly, but Egg was not quite in position. Also, not sure how well Gauntlet Neutralite works for that black hole. I don't think I've ever seen it happen with Gauntlet Neutralite.
Yeah, I've never seen a Gauntlet black hole.
But Jelly goes high, ends up cleaning up the stock onto Pugsy. Arkosh, I'm not 100% sure what just happened on the right side because it seemed like no one was putting out pressure. But either way, eggsoup is the one with the stock advantage right now as he gets caught by his teammate.
I thought it looked like he touched the wall, but maybe he just got really, really close and thought he touched and didn't get the jump reset. But yeah, there was virtually no pressure. That was a free recovery. You saw Pugsy go back up. He was possibly looking for follow-up, looking for black hole potential. We saw that happen twice in a row from Pugsy, and I guess you just didn't need any pressure because Arkosh is going to lose track of his jumps and just fall to his death.
Yo, what better pressure than tournament pressure, right? Jellyfish is the one closest to the red, though, regardless of Arkosh making those slight mistakes, that slight head bumping. But eggsoup is the one with the least damage out of everyone on the map, as everyone else is in the red. Down sig, high in the sky, Arkosh taken down. Jellyfish recovered.
And maybe I was wrong when saying Asuri is the mark of a washed player, but I can tell you that pretty much every other time other than that has ended in a loss for the Asuri player. Some of that could be due in part, though, eggsoup putting out 755 damage. That is absurd.
Lots of strong play from eggsoup despite being sick, but I'm more confused about the fact that Pugsy, despite essentially having success, you know, getting the W with that Asuri, has now just decided, okay, well, that was a thing. Now I'm going to go back to Bodvar.
I think Pugsy's just more successful with the Bodvar, 100%. Maybe he doesn't quite have the hammer potential like he does in 1v1, but I think the sword potential is definitely there. I think he's more comfortable with the Bodvar sword. I think he's more comfortable with Bodvar's hammer over Asuri's Katars.
Well, the Katars weren't terrible. We just didn't see a lot of the usual Qatar stuff, right? We didn't see that off the stage wall play. We didn't see any like high in the sky neutral light into a well, we did see a recovery, but it's I don't blame him. I think he is a stronger Bodvar player than an Asuri main, but it is interesting that he just kind of tried it once and was like, yeah, never mind. I'll just go back to Bodvar.
I think it's an issue of if I have Asuri's Katars, I don't feel great. I'm kind of just waiting for an opportunity to get Asuri's sword. Whereas with Bodvar, it's like, okay, I have Bodvar hammer. I'd prefer sword, but I can still make it work with this hammer.
That's fair, but Arkosh is going to try to make hammer work. Goes to a little bit lower dex, arguably considered one of the weaker than Cassidy as far as light attacks go when it comes to hammer. But he's still got the sword in potential play. Gets a nice neutral light onto eggsoup.
I'm glad we're not seeing the Cassidy here. I don't feel like the Cassidy pick was that strong. I don't feel like there was anything inherently different about Cassidy that he couldn't do with a character that he has more experience with, more time with. He hit a single hammer down sig. You're right. No other character has that goofy hammer down.
Jellyfish gets a nice ground pound onto eggsoup. Arkosh is going to survive. Pugsy sends everyone high, but nobody is high enough to die. Arkosh and Jellyfish both going to go to the island for survival. Pugsy gets a nair. Stocks evened up. Jelly didn't need to recover there.
eggsoup just completely disengaged. There were a couple weapon throws. There was a spike ball throw, and maybe it was because Egg was disarmed, but he completely disengaged after Jellyfish recovered back on.
It was interesting. We are seeing the gauntlet black hole. It looks like the neutral lights work, and the big side sig. I don't think Arkosh even touched orange, maybe just the tip of orange, before he's already taken down by the side sig from eggsoup, and that is a full stock advantage for Pugsy and eggsoup.
I'm surprised the low force of Val was able to kill with that. My guess is that's probably a threshold that Egg knows, probably 100% knows exactly when to do it, knows the exact number and the exact timing.
If I'm not mistaken, the gauntlet side sig is Val's hardest hitting force-wise. But you're right. It's a 4-force character. Generally not the easiest thing to do. You will not very frequently see signatures kill from Val that early.
Now we're seeing a nice follow-up. That just nice nair, that's the story of Pugsy and eggsoup. It doesn't necessarily have to be black holes. It doesn't have to be these complicated lads combos. It's just these constant follow-ups here and there. Pug gets a hit, Egg gets a hit. Wait a little bit, Pug gets a hit, Egg gets a hit. Wait a little bit. And it's just constant that works.
Ooh, and Arkosh falls down. The synergy. It's just following up, putting pressure out. One person does one thing, and the other person is either there to follow up like that, to follow up after their teammate gets hit, or just is there to put pressure out and force them into your teammate's damage. But Jellyfish now has to fight the 1v2. If he can get the bomb toss onto Pugsy at the right spot, or, you know, just get some damage onto eggsoup, gets a nice double recovery, not enough to finish off Pugsy. Pugsy's getting close to dead.
And Jellyfish is favoring that island heavily. There's not enough room to really black hole there without the most obvious setup in the world. Jellyfish is a little bit smarter than to fall into that, but he just doesn't want to touch that main platform right now. He also has the chance to hit side airs off the right, because Pugsy is very red right now. eggsoup is starting to get into the orange, not kill percentage yet, especially with the low force illusion and the medium to high armor that Val has.
There's also a level of King's Pass syndrome with that island, right? They have to make the approach to Jellyfish on that island. They have to jump up into him, and you're seeing him fish for these recoveries onto Pugsy when Pugsy tries to jump up. You're seeing him go for a speed dodge recovery. He's just going for unarmed recoveries onto eggsoup and Pugsy.
And he has slowly, so slowly made his way to that weapon. He went from kind of camping on that island to sort of the middle right, to the middle left, to the left, and then finally getting that weapon spawn. Great patience from Jellyfish, willing to fight out that unarmed.
Oh! This is close!
That nair would have killed anybody but Lucian, except for maybe Roland.
Except for higher defense. But the neutral light, Jellyfish bounces off the island, doesn't have the movement, gets taken down. I mean, that was hard fought from Jellyfish. He was doing a great job using that island to his advantage, but the second he kind of started looking for more, started looking for some guitar play, some gun play, we saw his kind of strat fall apart a little bit.
I mean, what he really needed a weapon. He could have stayed on the island a little bit longer, but what he really needed was a weapon. And at that point, his only hope was to go pick up the weapon or to hope and pray that RNG spawns a weapon on that island. I don't blame him for going for that weapon, especially because Pugsy was red. He could have turned that around in an instant, and then he would have just had to fight the 1v1.
The island is a spawn point. I like that he tried to go with the guitars. Guitars, not as long active frame, so he wasn't going to get punished. Like, if he went for a gun recovery, despite the fact that it more than likely would have killed Pugsy, it would have just set him up for free damage from eggsoup. I like that he wanted the guitars. We saw the nair, but it's just, he did not have the kills in his heart. Lucian does have 3 force. It is hard to get kills with him, but we're going to be continuing on. It's going to be the lower bracket. We're going to be watching noeL and Blood Diamond of Kingdom Esports fight it out against Magmabob and Stevanator.
Now we are in lower quarters right now, if I'm not mistaken. So these sets are going to be the do or die sets. If you lose these sets, you're out of the tournament. So this is where you really need to crack down. You really need to pinpoint your weaknesses and try to eliminate them. Pinpoint your opponent's weaknesses and try to exploit them.
And we're seeing Blood Diamond kind of, he's not going to mess around with the double Koji. He kind of recognizes that A, he had slightly more success with Bodvar, and B, he kind of needs a little bit more survivability than just the raw Koji. So instead, he's going to be going for Bodvar. It's a little bit more standard per NA. Almost everyone in NA loves that Bodvar pick. You know, we've said it 1,000 times. So I like that he's going just straight into the Bodvar.
The Koji was having a little bit of trouble towards the end. He started out strong, but then just people were figuring it out. They've seen his Koji over and over again. Just switch it up enough to Bodvar. It's enough of a change, a little bit more survivability, and I would like to see if he can out Bodvar Magmabob here and kill Steve early enough without dying. That's the thing, is Blood Diamond can't be the one to die every time.
On the same side, Magmabob can't be the one to get taken down first. He's got to be careful, as he's the only one with a weapon, or without a weapon, on the screen right now. He had the mine. There's the horn. Blood Diamond's just putting so much pressure on Magmabob, just now picking up his first weapon 15 seconds into the game.
Keep in mind, though, with all that pressure, there hasn't been a ton of damage coming out. Everybody is pretty much yellow. Blood Diamond's orange. Magmabob is now orange. So it's still pretty even with all that pressure.
But Magmabob wants to regroup with his team, kind of just play positionally, help out his teammate, get those solid follow-ups, but he's getting knocked into the sky. Again, Blood Diamond is just pressuring out Magmabob. Nice ground pound from noeL. Another one needed, but Steve helps him out. Magmabob turns it around with that down air.
I'm not sure what noeL was looking for with that ground pound. I don't know if he was just completely changing his target and committing to Stevanator, or if he was expecting Magmabob to go into that push-off column there for the ground pound. But regardless, the pressure from Steve, the saving from Steve kept Magmabob safe. And with that, Magmabob didn't just tunnel vision and recover back to the top. He turned around and got the kill.
noeL gets a nice pop-up side air to take down Magmabob. Turns around, wants another side air onto Stevanator. The stocks are pretty even, except for the fact that noeL's just taking a little bit more damage as he was the first one to get taken down. Yeah,
in this case, Blood Diamond is holding on to his first stock. We talked about it before. We had Blood Diamond having trouble, but noeL is gonna say, no, it's okay. We're gonna go back to the way we were playing before, and Blood Diamond, you need to die faster.
So if it works, it works. Oh, but they get the nice black hole onto Magmabob. Neutral light, side 6 started up from noeL a little bit early there, but Steve cleans it up for them, and they've got the sword black hole. It's going to be faster than the sword unarmed, but Blood Diamond goes for the side 6 early.
That's, I think, 2 that they've dropped. I'll at least...
Yeah, but they get the damage.
I'll at least give noeL the benefit of the doubt. He was a little bit worried about the pressure from the spawning teammate. So he did that side signature a little bit early, hoping he could get it off before there was the interruption. But that's tough. Dropping 2 in a row, that's a little bit rough.
Well, they still got the damage. Ended up cleaning it up onto Stevanator. They've got 4 stocks to the opponent's 2. Those little drops are a little bit unfortunate. I think we saw them go for the neutral sig earlier on, and maybe they were half listening and they're like, you know what, you're right. Neutral sig doesn't quite work. We'll go for the side sig. But I mean, if you connect with the neutral sig, stick to the neutral sig, because the side sig, y'all just hurt as well. But Magbob hammer plays. Blood Diamond recovers his teammate.
Oh,
That's the delayed payback. That's the delayed. You got me one, I'll get you one. noeL salutes his teammate.
I mean, he had to do that to recover back to the platform. That's just completely unlucky for noeL. Wrong place, wrong time.
I like that noeL went low and recovered to try to help his teammate out. Despite the fact that they've got the stock advantage, they've got room to play around with. You still don't want to be giving out unnecessary kills. Side air drops. Magbob wants to keep the pressure out as noeL catches him with a neutral sig. They need to not make mistakes. That down sig will do it. But noeL neutral sigs his teammate. He's still thinking about killing his teammate. It's in their blood.
That down sig, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw somebody connect with a Koji down sig.
They buffed it.
It's definitely been a long time. That's a very readable signature. It's a pretty punishable signature just because you know exactly where they're going. It shows 100% the actual line and where they're going to end up. There is no guesstimation there. There is no, I think he's going to be here. He's going to be here. I'll be able to punish.
But they connect on the back of Magbob, ends up taking down Magbob. Couldn't quite avoid the down sig, and regardless, there was still Blood Diamond on the map. I like the Blood Diamond is sticking with the Bode bar. He had the survivability this time, just solid positioning. noeL was the one that ended up getting taken down a little bit earlier. But we're going to be seeing them go into game 2. Steve and Magbob versus Blood Diamond and noeL. Same map, Mammoth. And no weapons picked up for the red team.
That's a tough way to start, but Blood Diamond coming out with that hammer. I honestly don't remember much of his hammer play from before. So my guess is that just he kind of mostly relies on the sword. And the second there was a weapon spawn, we saw him switch to that sword.
I mean, sword is the name of the game. It's the reason why he's picked all of those other characters. They all had sword. That was the common thread for that character pool.
Welcome to North America, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
And Stevenator is going to go for that signature, and he's going to kill Magbob off the top corner. Okay.
What?
Okay.
Huh? Oh, okay. Magbob might be a little bit upset with that soft platform. He got the recovery onto Blood Diamond, but the soft platform just bounces him back up into the sky. A blue team is still alive in the red, despite the fact that they're so deep. Magbob is the first one down. There goes Blood Diamond. noeL gets caught by the ground pound, and the stock advantage swings back in the way of the red team.
And it really looks like Stevenator is trying to stay with those gauntlets. Still haven't seen him have a ton of success with them. It's been more sword. He's gotten a handful of ground pounds here and there, but mostly it's been that sword, which has been the luckiest for him.
As you say that, he is playing the sword, throws it away, gets caught by the recovery from noeL. He's going to be picking up gauntlets again. Maybe it's just something as simple as the movement abilities. You know, gauntlets have a lot of movement. You can do that chasing ground pound. You can do those side airs off the stage to just completely recover, almost like it was a lance. It might be as simple as he just likes the ability to move around the map a little bit faster with those gauntlets. Oh, but noeL gets a side sig, and they want the team double. Magbob is going to be able to avoid both nairs except for the third one. Blood Diamond picks it up, and stock advantage goes back in the way of blue team as they double recover Steve.
That's 50 damage right there. That is completely not insignificant damage.
48. All right.
I said it's like 50.
Now we got to get the exact numbers as noeL goes for the bow gimp, wants to ground pound Steve, but it does not clash out. Instead, Steve gets the full recovery. But there's still a one stock difference. noeL he's got to hold on to it though. Bomb is not going to work out as Steve double downlights both his teammate and the opponent.
And I think it's just been a change of pace and just a change in thought process that has kept Blood Diamond alive. He's been playing a little bit more in the air. He's been playing a little bit more at range. He's not going for these really, really close stacked gimps on the wall. He's playing a little bit more safe while still maintaining pressure and aggression. And that means he hasn't been dying quite as early.
Ooh, but he side six his teammate. But you're right. He's been able to extend his stocks a lot better here now that they're in the lowers bracket. I think it's that lowers bracket pressure of this is do or die. You cannot afford to make those mistakes as he gets a big dare onto Magma Bob. Steve tries to neutral sig him. It's not going to finish him off. Goes high in the sky, but he's burned so many options. Good thing Gauntlets have a couple extra with that side air.
Now, my guess is noeL is going to be the one to be the main aggressor onto Steve, but I could be wrong, just because Blood Diamond is in the red on his last stock.
Well, they know that regardless, anyone who gets the hit, there it is. Blood Diamond gets the down there, takes down Stevenator, and Blood Diamond and noeL take down this old guard of a team. Magma Bob and Stevenator. Kingdom Esports boys are going to be continuing on.
And with that change, we're seeing Blood Diamond do more damage, and he's surviving longer. That's the key here. As long as Blood Diamond is able to survive, he's able to put out more damage, he's able to put out more pressure, and he's able to get kills. He got 4 kills to noeL's 1 that game. Something in his mind just clicked to where he's not getting taken out first, while noeL still has like 2 stocks left.
Well, it's quite possible that after their defeat in the upper bracket, they kind of pause and they're like, all right, now we gotta talk. noeL was like, hey, Blood Diamond, we're gonna have a moment here. We're gonna have, I'll be your coach, and I'll give you this uplifting speech about how you need to just be all that you can be, and then play safer, stick with the boat.
Is he a recruiter for the army like 12 years ago?
That's why I left because I heard it in my head. But it could have just been like they regrouped and said, all right, what's going on? What's wrong? What do we need to shore up to make sure that we can continue on in this tournament? And it seems like whatever they talked about, it worked out, as Blood Diamond was able to keep his stocks, extend those stocks, put out extra damage, and keep his team alive in the lower bracket. We're going to be going on to the other side. It's going to be Twilight and Logic versus Arkosh and Jellyfish.
Now, Jellyfish, he did join a little bit late to this lobby. I'm not sure if maybe he needed a restart of his game client or anything like that. But we're seeing Arkosh lock in
Cassidy?
This Cassidy pick again.
Cassidy?
I really don't like this pick from him. We saw him have a lot of trouble with it before. He wasn't able to put out damage. He wasn't able to kill. He hit a single down signature with that hammer. That was about the most incredible thing he did, and that sent his opponent up and left into the corner. Did it kill? I don't remember it killing.
Nope.
It didn't even kill. If he would have done a side signature, it would have killed.
It was just a down sig for down sig's sake. I don't know what Arkosh has in mind. I'm sure they've got something stylish. We're seeing Logic and Twilight go with the Bode bars. If they can get their hammer gimp 100 to 0 on the lads, I think that'll be the biggest stylish upset of the day, in my opinion, just because it's Arkosh and Jellyfish. These guys are the guys who made this combo possible.
I think that would actually be the grimiest, most disrespectful thing ever, and I would absolutely love every minute of it. But I honestly don't think Twilight and Logic are going to risk that at this point, unless they just have the lead of a lifetime.
I don't know why else they would be playing this Bodebar team, as Jellyfish overcommits, tries to ground pound onto Logic, but Logic's just out of there, and Jellyfish recognizes it and goes straight down. That was 20 seconds into the game, and Jellyfish just SD to stock.
That's just a very, very huge early just morale defeater for Arkosh and Jellyfish. As a higher defense character, you just can't. You absolutely cannot do that.
You can't afford those kind of things, especially not in the lower bracket. Jellyfish is on his last stock, less than a minute in the game. They get the black hole down, Sid cleans it up. Jellyfish and Arkosh, they're gonna have to take a breather after this one, because something went very drastically wrong here as they get a double black hole. Jellyfish falls out, but they still cleans up the side sig onto Arkosh.
How did Jellyfish fall out?
Lucian defense?
I'm surprised that Jellyfish fell out. That's just a little bit goofy, but it doesn't matter, because they're gonna immediately get that kill, and Arkosh, we legitimately could see a 6 stock here. I don't think it'll happen, but we could see it.
You just jinxed it!
I'm trying to hook up my boy Arkosh. I don't want him to get 6 stock, okay?
You just jinxed it! It's Arkosh. It's on Cassidy. We've kind of griped about the Cassidy pick. I don't think that it was the picks that went wrong. It was the team. Jellyfish and Arkosh they just got caught. Twilight's looking for a hammer. Twilight is looking for a hammer.
Yep, they're 100%
He's faking. He's
searching
faking
for it right now.
There's a weapon spawn, throws it away, picks up the hammer. They're looking for it.
Nice little gravity cancel salt taunt from Arkosh. He's gonna come in and side air Logic, and at this point, I mean, no 6-stock. The 6-stock dream is dead. I don't
but
know what Arkosh
it's 100% Logic and Twilight. They want this. They want this hammer combo. There's the hammer pickup. You're seeing them just kind of fish for it. You know what this is? This is that, like, in 1v1 when they just keep fishing for the Russian Mafia and you're like, come on, can we just, like, finish this game? Can we move on? That's more or less what's happening. We're just waiting for Logic and Twilight to go for this combo. Drop or not. Once it's happened, it's over. That's the drop. Are they still going to try for it?
I think they're absolutely 100% going to try for it. That was a goofy
There's
instant.
the neutral light. There's a recovery. There's a dare. There's a recovery. There's a dare. There's a dare to cancel there. Twilight gets it.
Grimy.
That
was so rude. That is disrespectful. Put it on the Reddit. I love it. There's a new Lads in town.
That was it.
Oh. That is just... Oh. There's nothing to say there other than that's just... Oh. Ah.
Jellyfish and Arkosh more or less just got dominated. Twilight and Logic have got to be right. I didn't even look at the character. Arkosh is on Bodvar. We're not seeing Cassidy, but that was I mean, that was the world's biggest backhand to the face. The gauntlet has been thrown, and if Arkosh and Jellyfish cannot counter style, I don't even know if style's enough for that. That was...
honestly, I expect that kind of prankster, gangster, meme, disrespect business out of Boomie and Remy. I expect that out of maybe Twilight and Logic in a more casual setting, in a custom game, maybe even in ranked 2v2. I don't expect that out of them in a tournament, and I love seeing that shade of Twilight and Logic. The just disrespectful in a fun way. You know, it's not toxic, it's not mean. It's just I'm gonna beat you at your own game. You put these fantastic, cool 2v2 combo gifts on the Reddit. You complain about people doing just like sword neutral light black holes. Well, I'm gonna do your combo on you in a tournament.
You know, deep down, I like to believe that Arkosh had kind of a smile and a tear in his eye as he was getting caught in it, and he was like, that's my boy. That's my boy.
That was just complete disrespect, complete domination, and I'm hoping we're gonna see something different this game from Arkosh and Jellyfish, because that's a very tough loss.
Well, we're seeing a little bit of a smoother gameplay from Arkosh and Jellyfish, not immediately just getting double black hole. The stocks are fairly even as Jellyfish goes high in the sky, not even risking any potential black holes from Twilight and Jellyfish. Or Twilight and Logic, excuse me.
And Arkosh there just kind of getting a little bit of a lead
black
with
hole?
the sword side air. Nice little black hole. He jumped over to avoid Logic, though. Didn't risk continuing
that bomb was still active. Okay.
Arkosh still alive, and Twilight hitting that recovery just saved Jellyfish, and he knows it. That's why he did that gravity cancel. Take a picture taunt. Paparazzi.
Oh, but the neutral lights, there's the side sig.
And just like that, Jellyfish and Arkosh are behind. Logic and Twilight have evened this game up. Jellyfish and Arkosh were a little bit ahead, but the boys in red have evened it up with one of those black holes that we know them so well for.
Well, Twilight's in the red. He's not completely in red's favor if they can clean up the stock, but that'll do it. Stocks have been evened up. Logic not too far behind in the red. Nice neutral light. Jellyfish just a little bit off the mark with that recovery. You wanted the follow-up off the neutral light. You saw it, but just couldn't quite pick it up.
The pickup of gun recovery is a little bit, it's a little bit goofy at times. It's a little bit sometimes misleading if you aren't 100% comfortable with the move. But I'm really starting to like this Lucian pick from Jellyfish. The more and more I see it, the more I'm really liking it. The more I hope that people pick up Lucian and play him in a not awful to play against manner in my ranked games, in tournaments, and in customs.
I mean, he's playing Lucian like a standard character. A lot of people play Lucian like it's gun Lucian. Oh, but Jellyfish gets one stock. If Twilight gets taken down, all potential for that hammer combo goes away, but the neutral lights pick up. Jellyfish, I highly doubt he'll get dropped out. That'll do it. And now they've got potential. Oh, they're not even going for it. They don't even care. They've got it once. That's all they needed. Are we gonna see what Jellyfish did?
The disrespect has been done. There is no way that Jellyfish and Arkosh can come back from that. Even if they win this game, win this set, that is just, morale-wise, that's tough. And Twilight and Logic are just going to wait him out. 100%.
Ooh, but Logic, it's close to taking on his teammate, but that might have just been a gigantic bait because Jellyfish tried to take advantage of it. Ends up taking a little bit of damage for trying to fall for that.
Jellyfish is just looking for that damage, that downlight Sarah, but he's getting all of it on Logic.
Dump, side sig, not enough. Jellyfish, or when you see him go back to the island, that's the double recovery, no punishes. And he's back to the island. Oh, he goes deep with that dare. Couldn't follow up off the bounce. And that will finish it off. Logic and Twilight, disrespect in game 1, game 2, able to just clean it out. Get some solid black holes, and they're gonna win it out over Jellyfish and Arkosh in a stylish manner.
That's a really tough loss for Jellyfish and Arkosh. They gotta be feeling pretty low after not only the loss, but the disrespect with their own combo. On the other side, Twilight and Logic gotta be feeling pretty good right now. I bet Twilight's popping off. I would have loved to have heard their comms during that time.
I'm sure they are riding high, but they're going to be going up against noeL and Blood Diamond next. This is going to be the lower semis. And at this point, I think almost everyone knows what happens when Twilight and Logic both have hammer and you are basically whiteout. You know what they're looking for. The question is, are they going to continue with that kind of play style? Are they going to continue trying to go for that? Or will they just go to a more standard play and fish for those sword black holes?
I honestly have no clue at this point because I wouldn't have thought they would have risked it against Arkosh and Jelly. I thought they would have tried to make their point earlier in the tournament, like they tried to, but actually didn't. But yeah, I mean, you never know. At this point, I think Twilight and Logic are far from feeling backed into a corner at any point. They don't feel like a wounded animal. I think they're feeling very confident with the way they're playing right now, and I think they are a complete wild card.
I think they are definitely in a very good mood right now as they continue on in the tournament. We're going to be going to the next map. It's going to be Mammoth. It seems like every single time that Mammoth, Ship, and Great Hall are left on the board, people seem to favor Mammoth. It's going to be Mammoth once again in this best of 3 set. For the lower semis, it's going to be Twilight and Logic with the double boat bar. They've got potential for that hammer combo. On the other side, Blood Diamond and noeL. Blood Diamond, it's going to come down to him surviving.
And Blood Diamond and noeL, they've already played Twilight and Logic. They already beat them 2-1. So if past history dictates the truth, then Blood Diamond and noeL have already won this.
Well, not to discount Twilight and Logic just yet. noeL barely able to save his teammate, able to neutral light Logic before the side stick could come out. That was close. Nice turnaround, Sarah, but Twilight's gonna put out pressure.
noeL has been hitting those turnaround Sayers so much today. He's been pushed deep, and even when he's on the defensive in an edge guard, he turns around and hits those Sayers, and he's been getting gimps with them. He's been relieving the pressure on himself from them, and he's been giving openings for his teammate to come and follow up.
And we're seeing the bow in hand. I like that he waited, wasn't gonna sidestick his teammate. Blood Diamond has already gotten taken down. We saw him get killed by Logic on the left side just a little while ago. And that's the critical issue for the Kingdom Esports team. If Blood Diamond gets taken down too fast, he saved Logic with that dare. He was trying to dare Twilight. Oh. The nice stare will take down Twilight. Recovery onto Logic keeps noeL from pressure. Recovery from noeL is going to take down Logic. Stock advantage is in Kingdom Esports court.
Good follow-up from noeL. noeL is still managing to survive. Blood Diamond is the one who is dying. He's not in terrible shape right now, though, so I'm not digging at Blood Diamond at all. It's just noeL is the one who's able to extend those stocks.
Which isn't the worst thing in the world if noeL ends up getting stuck in the 2v1. If it's a close enough 2v1, we've seen noeL pull it out and clean it up. So I wouldn't be shaking too much if I was Blood Diamond, but at the same time, he can't just be throwing away stocks. He is the one that is closest in the red, and Logic and Twilight are trying to take advantage of it. And they do the power play, get a quick mini black hole on noeL.
And I don't know if Twilight was going for the side signature on Blood Diamond and noeL to try to pick up both like we saw earlier, but I think he did that side signature a little bit too early.
It might have just been to change up the timing, knowing that Blood Diamond was coming back, was going to try to interrupt and make things difficult. But at the same time, Logic is in the red. Twilight is the one with the most health on his name, and Blood Diamond challenges the side sig, side airs him in the face.
I'm surprised that there wasn't a little bit of an early release on that, maybe hoping for the clash that would have certainly gone in Logic's favor. But noeL's in the red, Twilight's in the orange, Logic and Blood Diamond both fresh on their last stock, so a game is pretty much even though Blood Diamond was red on his stock. He was able to kind of extend it, and he hasn't taken damage so far, so even though it looked like he was behind, he's still held on to it.
And I like what Blood Diamond did. There was potential power play. Oh, no. Oh, they turned it around on noeL. Going back, there was potential power play, but Blood Diamond just was not having any of it. Didn't go anywhere near the ground. Just waited out the spawn of his teammate.
Nice follow-up. While
Oh, no.
Logic was on the side recovering back onto the main platform, Blood Diamond
No.
and noeL were able to follow up, but Blood Diamond is just gonna fall.
I don't know if there's a little bit of miscommunication. noeL had potential, could have nared his teammate, maybe even potentially recovered. But he was in position. He was thinking about it, but ended up not being able to do it. And Twilight, recovery. Oh, the down air will do it for Twilight. Last stock. That was still incredibly close.
And Twilight was just waiting there. I love that he was just waiting for noeL to recover back to touch onto the platform. He knew that's the only direction noeL could go. He was waiting for the dodge to come out so he could get the ground pound. He was waiting for the dodge to come out so then he could hit the dare. He was waiting for all of the options to come out before he did a dare so that noeL couldn't come back up to the platform after dodging through a dare, dodging through a ground pound.
3, 2,
Great patience from Twilight on that edge guard is going to be able to close it out in game 1, and they jump right into game 2. Want the run back. They're back on Mammoth. noeL has yet to pick up a weapon. Logic is unarmed, but he's caught in Blood Diamond twice with neutralize.
We're seeing Logic and Twilight kind of stick almost stacked on top of each other right now for the start of this game. They're not spreading out as much. Maybe they're not looking for those early black holes that they've just been able to turn around and capitalize in less than 10 seconds.
Or we're seeing noeL and Blood Diamond also kind of try to position close to each other. We're not seeing them go super far away from each other. Nice punish from Logic to punish the side to get a nice double down light onto noeL. But noeL with that Sare, Logic's got the jumps. Blood Diamond went for the dare, didn't get the touch.
There we go. Blood Diamond, first to die, yet again.
noeL,
and
right
noeL is
behind him,
right
quick black
behind
hole.
him.
This is trouble.
dominating.
I don't like just. I don't even know what to do there. Just Blood Diamond is already dead again, and Twilight and Logic have they've taken the standard sword neutralite black hole, and they've turned it into an art form.
I mean, this is Twilight being Twilight and taking it into 2v2s. He took the side air, pushed it to its furthest limit, and ended up making that his own thing. Now, or sorry, side air. I said sidelight. Side air. But now he's taken black holes. He's taken Logic as his teammate, and they're just pushing that sword neutralite black hole, and they're catching so many of them here in this tournament.
They're able to do them in a 2v1 situation. They're able to do them in 2v2 situations. They're so versatile. They're so quick. And they almost happen like a flash flood. It's like you look out your window and everything's fine, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, there's 3 feet of water.
And noeL and Blood Diamond have got to do everything they can to not drown right now, as Blood Diamond is on his last stock. Might get hit. Nope, he's going to survive for just a little while. Sword Toss is going to keep him, but noeL is also on his last stock. Logic might be on his last stock, but Twilight is still on his first.
He really is. Like, that's actually what is really happening right now. They are having trouble killing Twilight, even 2.5 minutes into the game.
noeL wants it. You can see him kind of positioning towards Twilight. He's not even thinking about picking up the mine, doesn't want to risk maybe potentially mining himself. Any sort of trades is a bad trade for noeL right now.
And Twilight actually, I don't think he's thrown out a move in 10 or 15 seconds, possibly as much as 25 seconds. He's just been playing mind games with noeL.
Logic's kind of been knocking him around, but no, Logic gets above him. noeL doesn't have the jumps. Twilight gets a solid 3 stocks over the enemy team, and just solid control. Those black holes are all that Twilight and Logic need to win it out over noeL and Blood Diamond. They get the run back.
Just a complete 2-0 domination. They could not kill Twilight that last game. Not even a single time. Even with Logic bouncing that hammer into his teammate off of a mine explosion, they are unable to kill Twilight. After getting 2-1, turning that around and getting a 2-0 in Twilight and Logic's favor, that's tough.
That is tough, but I'm sure Twilight and Logic are riding high. We're going to be going into the winner's bracket now. It's going to be Soup and Pugsy versus Boomie and Remy.
Now, this is basically what we saw in, I believe, in winners finals of the Rivalcade 2v2. We saw this exact team composition right here. Remy and Boomie against Pugsy and Soup. Last time we saw them fight, Boomie and Remy won it out. This time, will it be a repeat? Is Egg in worse shape now or better shape? He was tired before. He's sick now. Are those premeditated Johns? Is Soup a drama queen? Will they win? At this point, I think anything could happen. Soup has had more time with Val. Every single second he spends with Val is just more and more time, more and more experience, more and more understanding of her kit, how to build up damage, and how to kill.
Well, when it came to the Rivalcade 2v2, Remy and Boomie ended up winning it out. Soup might be more familiar with that Val, but most of that success with Val was in a 1v1 situation. The US East Regional Qualifier was 1v1. If Soup gets caught in the 1v1, he's got to be confident, but at the same time, he is sick, and it's a 2v2 where Boomie and Remy have previously won. They've got the history advantage to their name.
I know both teams are probably actually going to be very confident going into this. I'm sure Boomie and Remy feel that they have it won based off of past history. I know Soup and Pugsy are the type of player to kind of put the past behind them and take every single game in the moment. And Pugsy is already immediately coming out with a Sasuri.
Why?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think the Asuri has anything that his Bodvar doesn't.
I don't think I don't hate the Asuri in the sense that I think Asuri is strong. Asuri in a 2v2, Katars generally, they're good at covering space. I mean, we saw Jellyfish had some success with the Katars on the Lucian, but at the same time, we saw what happened. Pugsy played Asuri, had meager success, and then immediately was like, nah, I'm just gonna go back to the Bodvar, which is something I'm more comfortable with, something that I have more weapon options with, and I'll just win it out with my Bodvar.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Asuri at all. It has nothing to do with sword, nothing to do with Katars. It has nothing to do with sword and Katars. It has nothing to do with Asuri stats. It's straight up, Pugsy had an issue before, and even though they won, Pugsy immediately changed to Bodvar. Pugsy has so much more experience with Bodvar. We haven't really seen Pugsy play Asuri in 2v2. We haven't really seen Pugsy play Asuri in 1v1. I don't know why you wouldn't lean on the Bodvar right now.
I guess he's got something in mind. Maybe it's a counter to the bow play of Remy. I don't. If he can get on top of Remy, he might have the advantage. He might also have the offstage advantage over Boomie. We saw Boomie actually kind of struggle a little bit when it came to those edge guards. He kind of got edge guarded by a fair number of different people, but we're going to be going to black guard keep, which is hard to edge guard people because those soft platforms can be a saving grace.
Maybe maybe this Pugsy edgeguard game will make leaps and bounds in terms of success here. Maybe we'll see it be a completely different animal than we saw before. But every time Pugsy had those guitars, most of the time he got outranged. And I can't see it going any way different here.
Well, that's exactly what's happening right now. He got caught by the neutral light, immediately does a dare sidelight onto Remy, but at the same time, his trying to approach onto his opponent and getting caught out has put eggsoup into a bad spot. eggsoup was the first one to touch orange, but Pugsy has already taken more damage than him. It's these guitars and gauntlets, it's hard to approach, especially in a 2v2 situation, as Pugsy gets nared into the sky.
I already want to think that Pugsy has made the decision to switch to Bodvar immediately. I have to hope that there's a switch that clicked in Pugsy's brain saying, all right, this was an experiment. We're going to just go ahead and chalk this one up to the experiment. We're going to try our best, and we're going to switch to Bodvar next game.
Well, he can't be throwing away this just yet. He's still got to kind of download whatever he can. In the meantime, he gets a solid dare to finish off the stock, but he's already in the orange, and we're seeing him go back to the guitars. If his goal is to spend the rest of this game doing whatever downloading he can, I'd like to see him just stick with sword and try to figure out what he can do with the sword onto his opponents.
Because that's really what he can take from this game and apply it to the next game if he does switch to that Bodvar. That is what the overlap is with, is the sword from Asuri to Bodvar.
But we're not seeing that. We're seeing him instead stick with his guitars. He's trying to play this nair game in the center of the map. I guess it's just to control space. Every time his opponents stack up, he's just dodging around with those nairs. Health and stock advantage or health advantage is more or less in the red camp of eggsoup and Pugsy, mostly due to eggsoup with that survivability on that Val having the highest defense on the screen. I'm not having a whole lot of confidence with this guitar play from Pugsy. Down sig connects though, not gonna finish off.
And Pugsy's gonna come in. He's coming in for the edge guard, and again, he's just outranged by Remy's sword.
But he's going deep. This is the spot where he would have the most potential success, but instead he gets knocked away, ends up falling down, wasn't able to recover back up, and eggsoup in the red. The advantage has been mitigated. Side sig connects. Not enough.
I think the issue with Pugsy's guitars is just not necessarily his guitars are bad by any means, but it's just everyone else's experience with every other weapon is just higher.
Was that sidekick combo planned?
It might have been. I know there are only a handful of people that really try to fish for those and plan for those. I don't see that being the case here, but it could have been.
Because he threw out the side air, and the only way I could have seen that side air connecting was if there was a panic jump from Pugsy, but the sidekick ended up catching Pugsy and sends him into the sidekick. We've seen the stocks evened up, but once again, Pugsy's just taking so much damage. Nice neutral sig from Remy, trying to fish for more, throwing out side sigs, going to an old school Remy bow style of play where he just kind of throws out a lot of moves and makes it very hard for your opponent to approach. But a nice downlight side air. Boomie wants to finish it off, switches to the hammer, side air will do it. Pugsy, last one left. Nice neutral air. Uh-oh. Oh, he's fine.
And Pugsy's gonna kind of need a big play here. He's gonna need, well, two big plays unless he gets one really big play to take out both Remy and Boomie. You know they're gonna starve the field.
Oh, that side sig connects onto Remy, but Boomie gets above him, gets a nice dare, ends up finishing off the stock. We saw Pugsy was kind of trying to play guitars to the best of his ability with that neutral sig on the sides, but it just got interrupted.
And that was the follow-up from Boomie and Remy there. We saw while Pugsy was stuck in those animation frames from that signature, Boomie was already moving into place. And then while Pugsy was stuck in recovery frames from the signature, that's when Boomie was able to use that sword to take Pugsy out.
And I like that Pugsy immediately switched to the Bodvar. You and I both recognize that the Asuri just does not work as well as the Bodvar pick works. And we're going to be going in with this Bodvar. I believe it was Blackguard Keep was the map pick. You know?
I'm looking at the replay on stream.
Yep, there it is.
Yes, it is the Blackguard pick. Maybe Pugsy is just trying to switch things up. I know he was trying to do that against Egg in the in the regional qualifier, so that basically Egg's game was to make adjustments, download the play style, download the character, download how Pugsy was playing the character, and then exploit any weaknesses. So maybe with this Asuri pick, this first game Asuri pick, they're going into game 2, and Remy and Boomie have no idea how to counter him?
Well, there's 2 people, and it seems like eggsoup got a little bit downloaded there. He was playing Gauntlets on the edge against Boomie's unarmed play and was getting beaten out. That's the reason why eggsoup was the first one to get knocked in the red. Pugsy ended up getting the side stick to finish off eggsoup, but at the same time, sure, switching characters might help them not download you, but you've got a teammate to worry about as well, as eggsoup gets a nice double sideline into a recovery, and the stock advantage is in the way of Pugsy and eggsoup.
I mean, even if you're able to download your opponent, switch characters, and then they have no idea what to do, like, at that point, you're still down a game. You are giving your opponents more or less a free game. So you have to come back, you have to be very efficient in your analysis of your opponent, and you have to be very confident in your ability that you can make that loss, invest that loss, and turn it around, turn it into multiple wins in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it's the long con, but at least it's a best-of-5 set where losing one game isn't gonna put you on your bracket game. Instead, you've got a little bit of room to work around, as Boomie and eggsoup are both on their last stock, and that adjustment from Pugsy to go back to the Bodvar is working out fantastically, as he is still on his first stock, and he's like reddish orangish, burnt orange.
Yeah, he's basically about to proc into red right now, but there's not even like there's no defense increase. It's 5 defense to 5 defense from Asuri to Bodvar, and I don't know if it's just Pugsy's overall general comfortability, or if it's not having Katars, so he's just able to get in more often.
Well, we saw that when he had the Katars, he kind of preferred them. He went for a lot of the central nair, control the interior space Katar play. Now that he doesn't have Katars as an option, we saw a lot more sword play. He's now on the hammer, wanting to finish off the stock of Boomie. But I would not be surprised to see Pugsy try to switch up back to the sword the second that he can.
I want him to try to get this hammer and look for a quick side air kill, maybe an elevated dare kill, a recovery kill on the side, onto Boomie, and then exactly what you said, get that sword and build up that quick damage onto Remy.
He's got to be careful. I like that he's playing on the soft platform. It is harder to get caught by a black hole. Nice gravity cancel black hole from Remy to help add up a little bit of damage. 3 neutral lights onto Pugsy is going to put him in the orange. He's got the stock advantage, but at the same time, that's not what you want.
And with that, Boomie and Remy are going to even up the stocks. They're going to strip the field. And Pugsy is looking down at the end of the barrel of a gun.
Neutral sig will do it! 2 black holes in a row from Remy, and Boomie ends up taking it down. Pugsy was looking strong with that Bodvar, but black holes.
Those black holes were such an obstacle that apparently weren't visible until just now. That didn't really happen the game before last. They didn't have to use those. They didn't have to bring out that option. They didn't have to show their hand of cards. But now you constantly have to be worried about that. And Pugsy's still staying with this Bodvar, even though he lost the 2v1. And this is basically the winner's bracket tournament point right now.
This is, in fact, yeah, it's basically winner's bracket point for Pugsy and eggsoup. If they get taken down, they're going to have to go down to lower brackets to fight Logic and Twilight, who, I mean, we've seen their black hole potential. We've seen what they can do. So things are not looking strong for eggsoup and Pugsy, even though they've got the health advantage right now as eggsoup recovers, or neutral sig's his teammate.
And we're seeing vastly different openings from game to game. The way this game went, Pugsy and eggsoup were starting to get into the yellow, and Boomie and Remy were starting to get into the orange and then into the red. And only now is Pugsy starting to get into the orange. Whereas game 1, it was very, very different. Boomie and Remy came out of the gate and were very much ahead.
But in game 2, Pugsy was only in the orange on his first stock for an incredibly long amount of time. Now we're seeing him pretty much close to death. Was able to avoid all the damage, but at the same time, he's in the red.
Boomie and Remy have both fallen. No black hole potential for Boomie. to get caught in right there. Eggsoup and Pugsy just electing to get back on the main platform, have stage control, and attempt to strip the field.
Nice punish from Pugsy. The stripped field is going to make it very difficult. Eggsoup finds the one weapon spawn that was on the map, but he's going to completely avoid any sort of black hole potential. And Pugsy ends up calling in a weapon for himself.
We now have 4 swords
Black
on
hole.
the field.
Double black hole! Double black hole! And they're going to keep it going to guarantee the double kill, but Boomie
Dominating.
didn't go for a finisher, just turned around neutral light.
They wanted to make sure both Eggsoup and Pugsy were in the red, but I think they waited maybe one iteration of the black hole too long before attempting the signature out. But still, a huge play for Boomie and Remy.
Solid damage lead for Boomie and Remy as Eggsoup gets taken down. Pugsy gets one, but he's got essentially one stock to the 3 of his opponents. He's got to fight the 1v2. If he can take down Boomie, it's still a 1v1 against the one person with 2 stocks.
Even if he takes down Boomie, that would require a huge Gimp, which just completely leaves him open to punishment from Remy.
That's fair, but at the same time, Boomie and Remy have put up a little bit of damage on each other. They can afford it. Pugsy might have overcommitted there with that gravity cancel side sig, but regardless, that was definitely an uphill climb. I think Pugsy and Eggsoup have now got to readjust, start thinking about how they can combat the double Bodvari play of Twilight and Logic as Remy and Boomie take it out in game 3 of the upper bracket finals.
And that was a 3-0. That was 100% domination from Boomie and Remy. That was a 3-0 against Pugsy and Eggsoup, a 3-0 against one of the top 2v2 teams in North America.
No, but Eggsoup's got Johns, because remember, he's sick. It's okay. He tweeted about it.
Oh yeah, dude, I forgot. Egg has a little coffee and a little sneezies going on, and yep.
It's okay. It's okay. He took he Googled medicine for cold and took a picture of it and sent that on the Twitters. It's okay. It's fine.
Well, this Logic and Twilight team right here, we saw Pugsy and Eggsoup falling victim to Boomie and Remy's black holes. Now, we've seen Twilight and Logic's black holes. That seems to be the Pug and Egg counter right now. They've caught single black holes on Eggsoup. They've caught single black holes on Pugsy. They've caught double black holes on Eggsoup and Pugsy. It's just, I almost want to see them go to Grumpy Temple.
Or King's Pass?
Or King's Pass. Yes, never mind. Never go to Grumpy Temple. Please go to King's Pass.
The funny thing that stands out to me, though, is that Pugsy has continually said, don't worry about black holes. They're not that hard to get out of. But we just saw like 3 or 4 black holes connect onto Pugsy alone.
Yeah, but you know, Pugsy is one of those people that puts his foot in his mouth a lot and says things that are necessarily not true sometimes. But black holes, we've seen from every single 2v2 tournament, they can be a game decider, they can be a set decider. So they're definitely nothing to shake a finger at. You have to be worried about the black holes.
I mean, they can completely turn around a set. We've seen it multiple times where the 2v1 team are in the red, they're on their final stocks, and they just get 2 black holes in a row, and it's just done.
What I want to see from Egg and Pugsy right now is really try to force that 1v1 game and then have a rotation. Force the 1v1 game and then have a rotation. Because Pugsy and Eggsoup, I would say, are both stronger 1v1 players than Logic. I would try to focus Logic and get him out of the gate. So then Twilight has to do a 2v1 situation.
Oh, but Logic not showing that he's that weak in the 1v1 as he gets a nice stomp side stick to take down Pugsy. And at the same time, I got to agree with you, though. Eggsoup and Pugsy are, they were the top 2 finishers of the US East Regional Qualifier. They are very dominant in that 1v1 setting. But at the same time, if you focus too hard on the 1v1, you tunnel vision a little bit too much, or you down air your teammate, it's going to be an upward climb, and the other person can come back and ruin your day.
And of all people, Logic is the one to still have his third stock. Or sorry, his first stock. He has 3 stocks. And Twilight, Eggsoup, and Pugsy are pretty much all dead even right now.
And Logic got sent high into the sky, but still not done yet. is still alive. Twilight is the one in the orange for that team as eggsoup gets a nice double sidelight. Wants to finish off Logic. He's going for some sort of setup. Side sig, and it clashed out to save Logic.
That was a very strange clash. I guess it applies the main force vector at the very end of it.
Yeah, multi-hit moves. You do not get the force until the final hit. So eggsoup only got the first tap of the side stick, clashed with the neutral light, and
Never lucky.
didn't get the force. But he ended up picking up the neutral sig, takes down Logic, but Logic is looking pretty healthy right now.
In this case, Twilight is the one getting deeper and deeper into red, getting pushed further and further off stage. Pugsy coming in with the dare. I don't think Logic will be far behind if Pugsy can put the pressure on him.
Oh, Pugsy instead went back, wanted to keep Twilight out, let eggsoup try to fight that 1v1, which, I mean, we've said it a couple times already, that eggsoup should have the advantage just on pure player skill. At the same time, Logic able to push him away, not going to get taken down by that, and Twilight gets a nice side air.
And
Great
this is still a dead even game, but even, I guess, that wasn't a black hole, but it was basically the finish of a black hole that Twilight and Logic had right there. Just a great presence of mind, even though they might not have been set up for the black hole. Just probably just a single call out.
But there's a quick black hole onto Twilight. He goes for the side stick, but Logic, I have to think that he was trying to interrupt, but at the end of the day, that ended up helping out Twilight a lot. Didn't finish off Twilight, but still, just great plays.
Still just a dead even game. Pugsy and Twilight both very, very red right now. I would focus Twilight since he's the closest to death, and Logic is going to do it for him. Logic's going to have to fight a very tough 2v1 right now. He could kill Pugsy, but then he's still got to fight almost an even health eggsoup.
Not to mention the fact that he's just forced to play safely, cannot risk going onto the platform, otherwise he's gonna get caught by a black hole. There's the double sword potential. We've seen eggsoup make things work with that gauntlet, going into a side sig of some sort. He tried to charge up the neutral sig, no punish from Logic, but it's just the simple fact that there are two people on the other side means that Logic has to change up how he would normally approach in the 1v1. Oh,
Logic doing a good job. This could be a big moment for him.
Oh, he went deep.
He's
got movement. He's got movement.
He held that
taken
so
down.
deep and it worked.
1v1, Logic is in the red. Eggsoup's sick, it's okay.
This is tough for
side
Logic
stick.
right now, because even though that's not going to kill yet because of that Val defense. That Val
Eggsup
6
he
defense.
had the health advantage regardless of defense. Logic is looking for that stomp setup. He went for the Russian Mafia. Don't style.
What?
Just don't do it.
Why?
It
Logic?
wasn't worth it.
Logic. Your name is Logic. Use it.
Style. This is the lower bracket finals. That was not the time to do it. Eggsoup took full advantage of the style punish, and Logic gets taken down. Game 1 goes the way of eggsoup and Pugsy, but that was still really close.
That was a great turnaround by Logic. I love how deep he went with that unarmed ground pound all the way down to put pressure. That was a fantastic call. He was able to do it safely, and the threat of that edge guard was able to take out Pugsy.
We're gonna go on into game 2, and we're seeing Twilight and Logic again back to that black hole play, and they're able. They've practiced this enough that they know how to avoid the punishes. Pugsy went for that sidelight. Logic was able to dodge it. Eggsoup is already so deep in the red, and Pugsy's gonna be low, but doesn't go down to recover. Instead, just wanted to try to space out Twilight and Logic.
Twilight forced both members of the red team onto that right wall. Nice follow-up, and Pugsy's dead too. Twilight and Logic really stepping it up. I would say Twilight is definitely the more well-known player between Twilight and Logic, but still, Logic is definitely making a name for himself today. He's coming out really strong. I know when he fought with Stevenator in the previous 2v2, they didn't have this much success.
I mean, it's that synergy between Twilight and Logic. We said they were boys, and clearly these boys have played and practiced that black hole 1,000 times over. Twilight is in the red. That Nair is not going to finish it off, but the fact that he's high in the sky, Pugsy and eggsoup are going to take a page out of Twilight and Logic's book and take the power play for the quick black hole onto Logic.
There's a recovery. pushing Twilight into the sky, but you don't need to do recoveries onto Twilight right now. You have to kill him. He has enough damage that pretty much most moves will kill him. Doesn't need any more damage. You're not helping yourself out.
But on the left side, you've got to be careful about Logic. Logic is knocking eggsoup and Pugsy around. Almost got 2 stomp side sigs in a row on both members of the red team, but that Nair will finish it off. Pugsy gets a double on a Twilight and Logic. Stocks might be even, but Pugsy is already in the red.
Pugsy does have to be careful. He was the first to be taken out last game. There are 2 members of the blue team, but all it's going to take is those dares from Logic. Just so fearsome right now. He's really come alive in these last few games.
Dares from Pugsy. Twilight's taken down. Stocks are even. In fact, the health advantage is in the way of Pugsy and eggsoup as Logic and Pugsy double ground pound right next to each other.
Logic sitting high in the sky. Twilight's there to follow up. Eggsoup's gonna get the kill, but there was some serious damage put on a Pugsy.
Now it's Twilight's turn to fight the 1v1, the 1v2. I'm sure Logic is in his ear saying, "Hey, here's what happened. Here's how I almost had it, except for the fact that I may or may not have tried to style on the last tick of damage."
They're
looking for black holes. Oh, Twilight gets a big gimp on the Pugsy. eggsoup might want to just try to fight it out in the neutral against Twilight. We've seen Twilight have some success with those edge guards. Wanted the downlight reset, couldn't quite get it. eggsoup though, he's still got to be careful. Nice side air. That one side air.
Twilight has pushed the downlight Sarah meta to its extreme
he didn't touch the wall.
He was so close. That's sad for Twilight. He definitely had a chance there. He was bringing it back in his favor, but eggsoup was just able to hold out long enough. He's able to stretch these stocks both times. He's been put as the last person alive for the red team. And both times, been coming out on top.
3, 2.
That was close. Twilight, he went for the dare to touch the wall, get the reset on the jumps, but instead went a little bit too low. And now we're going to game 4. It's going to be eggsoup and Pugsy 1 game away from going into the reset onto Boomie and Remy as Pugsy gets a double gimp onto Twilight and Logic with a big double KO less than 20 seconds in the game.
Where was that Pugsy the rest of the time? What are these early game gimps? How do these even... I don't know how these happen. It's just the game starts and these players just flip the switch. And it's like, it's the brightest star burns out the fastest because we haven't seen these gimps except in the beginning of these games.
He's practicing the assertive play.
It's so crazy how they happen so fast at the beginning of the game. And Logic was looking for the Russian Mafia there. He dropped the reverse dare, but Twilight was there to follow up with an unarmed nair.
Logic is going for these finishers, went for a stop neutral stick, ends up hammer tossing his teammate. Gets a recovery on the Pugsy, but Pugsy makes it back safe. eggsoup, first one to get taken down for the red team, but Twilight is already on his last stock as Pugsy gets another ground pound. He is dominating.
And here we're seeing it again. We saw this before. I can't remember which game it was, but Pugsy coming in very, very early, holding onto that stock, finally just dying a minute and a half into the game. Him and Egg both are almost completely fresh on their second stock. Meanwhile, Logic and Twilight getting an orange on their last.
I like to see Logic and Twilight both kind of play like this was the 1v2 situation. They had some success in the 1v2. It was close. They got the black hole potential, but ends up dropping it out of fear of eggsoup interrupting. eggsoup is in the red. That'll take it down.
And eggsoup went to counter Twilight's side sig, and Twilight ended up getting that unarmed Sair and taking him out.
And I do not want to discount Twilight and Logic just yet. If they've got the black hole potentials, as long as Logic doesn't get taken down by the neutral six. And now Twilight, destruction.
That was so incredibly quick. Looking at the other games, that game is completely different. Everything happened so fast. They had that lights out start with the double early gimp. And then just everything snowballed from there. Pugsy was able to stay alive. The deaths that eggsoup had, I guess they were just bait because in the end it didn't matter. Pugsy only died once. The damage numbers, they're not even that different. But Pugsy and eggsoup were just able to do so much in so little time.
I mean, just the big double gimp at the early of the game, it's got to play not only mentally, but it's just you're setting yourself up one step behind your opponent. You know, you're already have an uphill battle. Now it's even further a climb. Pugsy and eggsoup coming out real strong, but at the same time, I know Boomie was watching. I know he was talking in chat saying, okay, Pugsy. And I highly doubt Pugsy will be able to get the same double gimp kill efficiency here in this grand final set. It's going to be best of 5. Pugsy and eggsoup have to get the reset on Boomie and Remy.
You're coming in with 2 levels of energy and 2 levels of momentum here. You have Boomie and Remy who just fought eggsoup and Pugsy and 3-0'd them. Consequently, you have eggsoup and Pugsy who have to be feeling on cloud 9 after that game that they just had and after that set that they just had against Twilight and Logic. So it's going to be whose level of energy is able to carry them further, who is going to keep the momentum rolling, who's going to keep the train rolling.
I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but this tournament has been a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least, because there have been so many just insane highs. Twilight and Logic got the hammer combo on Jellyfish and Arkosh. Now Boomie, Remy, they 3-0'd Pugsy and eggsoup. Pugsy and eggsoup get the big double gimp onto Twilight. It's just, this has been an insane tournament, and we are going into grand finals. I think everybody is riding high. Pugsy and eggsoup, will they get the gimps? That's what I think it's going to come down to.
I think that's going to be incredibly tough on Boomie and Remy right now. I think Boomie and Remy are the team to beat in North America. We saw Remy play with LDZ at one time. I forgot who Boomie played with in that tournament. If I remember correctly, he didn't play in that tournament. And now they've found their way back to each other. I know Boomie and Remy are friends. They play a ton of games together. They're always scrimming. I always see them on Discord looking for one another, trying to scrim 1v1s, trying to queue 2v2s. And I think Boomie and Remy right now, they just have everything in their favor.
I mean, Boomie he's number 1 on the ranked leaderboard for a reason right now, or at least he's definitely number 1 in US East on the ranked leaderboard. He's just showing his absolute dominance in this game, showing that he is strong in the 1v1 as well as the 2v2, and he's just got great synergy with Remy. They play all sorts of games together. They are friends to the end, and that synergy is working out for them as they get the black hole onto Pugsy.
And Egg came in with that ground pound. He was able to save Pugsy from death. But
Everyone's
Egg
dying.
is gonna fall, and then Remy is gonna fall, and there are just bodies everywhere. There is death everywhere, and this volatile game. I can't think of 4 people who are just more volatile than eggsoup, Pugsy, Boomie, and Remy in terms of aggression, in terms of pressure, and in terms of just turnaround, quick, crazy things happening.
They are just all over the map in terms of just sheer insanity. There has not been a moment of reprieve for either of the teams. Nobody's been like, okay, we pushed off, we're going to disengage, we're going to go to the other side. Nobody's been knocked off the map and just like waiting on the edge. Instead, it's just been constant damage. One side or the other. One person dies, another person dies. Pugsy somehow ends up dominating Boomie and Remy.
And I say that Boomie and Remy are the team to beat in North America. Pugsy and eggsoup have 4 stocks now to Boomie and Remy's 2. This is looking like last set.
Don't discount them yet, though. We saw what happened. If eggsoup gets taken, they're just.
Boomie, stop! Okay. You're behind.
They just kept doing it. They just kept doing. He wanted it. He doesn't care. He wanted it. They've got a set to burn. If he wants to have a little bit of fun, I guess. Remy gets taken down. I was gonna say if Boomie and Remy can take down eggsoup and get the 2v1, we saw what happened when they had the 2v1 on Pugsy. They just got 2 quick black holes. Pugsy gonna help him out a little bit. But at the end of the day, Boomie's the one who's got to worry about the black holes.
Boomie is playing really, really deep on that side. The gimp potential is not huge right now. Pugsy knows how to recover.
Oh, that'll do it.
Almost fresh on his stock, and that's gonna happen. Boomie was in the red. It wouldn't take much, or sorry, Boomie was in the orange to red. It wouldn't take him much to be killed at that point, but it was gonna take a lot to kill Pugsy at that point. You're not going to get Pugsy that low when he has all his jumps and he's just barely yellow. Pugsy is somebody who knows how to recover. He knows how to gimp, so he knows how people get gimped. He knows how to play around it, and you're not going to get that turnaround big play against someone like Pugsy.
And Boomie is going to be switching to Azoth here in game 2 of this grand finals set. This is an interesting pick, to say the least.
I honestly, like, I love Azoth, and I love it when people pick Azoth in tournaments. I think he is a great character. I think he is very underrated.
King's Pass?
And King's Pass.
And King's Pass?
There is still black hole potential for Pugsy and eggsoup. Those platforms are still reasonably large. But maybe Boommy and Remy. I don't know what Boomie's going for here.
The critical thing to me is the horizontal kill box. eggsoup, we saw that side sig killing in orange on I think it was Mammoth or something like that. The side kill boxes on King's Pass are relatively small. They will surprise you how small they are. And if eggsoup is sticking with these gauntlets, gets a nice side sig on the edge of one of the platforms, you're gonna see people dying in yellow, red. Pugsy gets the neutral sig to take down both players, his teammate and the opponent.
We haven't actually been seeing Egg hit a lot of signatures towards the end of this tournament, though. We saw him throwing out a lot of them in the beginning. We saw him do a gravity cancel sword down sig. We saw him just completely fishing for side sigs. We haven't seen a lot of them lately, though. In the past few handful of sets, we really haven't seen them.
It's mostly been the gauntlet neutral sig, which is, I mean, it's not my favorite neutral. It's not my favorite gauntlet sig, but at the end of the day, I guess if it works, don't fix it. Or whatever the phrase is. You know what I'm talking about. Remy gets a side air onto Pugsy. Pugsy's going to try to recover back. Boomie not able to get the gimp with that bow play.
Oh, and Boomie went for that turnaround neutral sig. That's the only thing that I could see him hoping for with this Azoth is just the dynamic, I don't want to call it signature spam, but you know what I mean. Dynamic signature spam, the neutral sigs, the side sigs. He loves the down sig. And especially with that axe, if there's even a little bit of space, chase with that bow side or axe side sig.
But he hasn't been able to get the big bow gimps. We've seen him fight on the side of that right wall multiple times and just not connecting with those Sares or those dares onto his opponents. They're both in the red at this point. Boomie just needs a ground pound. That'll do it. Pugsy is in the red, so is Boomie.
That was a great ground pound from Boomie there. He stayed almost right on top of Remy because he knew that there was going to be a follow-up onto Remy. So he stayed right above, and when he went in for the punish, he was there with the ground pound.
Solid play from Boomie, keeping him alive as he gets taken down. Stocks are basically even. Health basically even. Remy gets ground pounded on, and eggsoup with the follow-up. Boomie wants to help his teammate out, and it worked! It worked! I didn't think he was going to get it! I didn't think it was going to be a good angle for that ground pound, but Boomie, the savior! I thought he messed up. When he bumped Remy's head against the platform, I thought he messed up. But it was enough. It gave his teammate the jump. It gave his teammate time to dodge back up. Remy survives. We're still in it. We're still even.
Great positioning from Boomie and a cool head from Remy. He didn't panic on the head bonk. He just kept his cool and he was able to get back. I honestly can't believe that just happened. I thought he was for sure dead, and I was going to say, that was a nice try, Boomie. And this is just like that. The game has turned around. It is dead even. This is a 1v1.
But it's Boomie on an unarguably off character with this Azoth versus Pugsy going to his mainstay, that Bodvar. You've got to just give a little bit of character advantage to Pugsy just on sheer comfortability.
And you can see how much Boomie is attacking. Those lower bow recovery times are really coming into play here. Boomie is looking to throw so many attacks out. And Pugsy, I don't know if he saw that coming or if he was just disengaging completely, but he got out of that ground pound just early enough.
Those active frames of the side sig could have caught Pugsy if he disengaged a little bit too late. But at the same time, Pugsy, he's doing a great job of more or less just kind of tapping Boomie and then moving away. Getting those little love taps of damage are enough that he's got the health advantage, but Boomie, he's got juggle potential. Nice ground pound from Pugsy. And that'll do it.
There's another game for eggsoup and Pugsy. And that was much different than game one. There was a lot less destruction there. That was a much more even game. When they started the 1v1 at the end, they were dead even in health. Absolutely dead even.
That was close, to say the least. At any point, Boomie had potential to have caught Pugsy up, caught him with a nair, and potentially juggled him. But at the end of the day, Pugsy was able to clean it up, got a nice side air on to Boomie, and we're going into game 3. Pugsy and eggsoup, 1 game away from getting the hot reset in the grand finals.
And now Boomie is coming in. He is immediately with that axe. I would beg to maybe differ on the ending of that last game if Boomie had that axe. I'm not saying he would have won it for sure. I think we would have seen a little bit more of an even damage spread between the two if he had that axe instead of the bow.
I got to agree with you. I think Boomie's... Oh, nice slide charge side stick off the soft platform. But I got to say, I think Boomie's axe play is a little bit stronger. We didn't see a lot of edge play from the axe, or from the bow, which is usually what we tend to see on bow players.
And now we're seeing Boomie with that bow again. He stays up in the air. He didn't try to juggle with nairs. He went for that recovery, which actually got its force buffed somewhat recently.
But now he's switching it up to the axe. Did that hit Remy? I don't think so, because Remy is in the red. Not going to get taken down just yet. And that side air from Pugsy will do it, but the stock advantage is definitely still in Boomie and Remy's favor, as that recovery will even it up.
That recovery just killed. That wasn't even the second recovery that has more force. That was just the initial recovery that killed.
That was like the last frames of the recovery as well.
And in this game, we're seeing Boomie and Remy start to pull ahead. Pugsy getting pretty low right now. Boomie was starting to look like he wanted to try and hit a gimp, an edge guard, but with that recovery, he just kind of sent Pugsy back up on top of the platform.
Remy is struggling right now. Gets a ground pound into a recovery high in the sky. That was like some Superman stuff. Pugsy gets taken down, but Remy is getting close to death.
What?
And did he ground pound into Boomie's side sig?
He ground pounded into Boomie's side sig. Remy, with those ricochet kills, has been doing work today.
Some solid ground pounds. Pugsy trying to do the same. Got the ground pound on Remy, but could not follow up as Remy picks up the nair. Is not going to get 3-0'd on the reset as eggsoup can't quite finish off one stock.
And we saw Remy get another ricochet kill just now.
Oh, the clash!
When he threw that weapon toss, it bounced him off.
Boomie's dead.
And he hit the recovery. Boomie's dead! But Remy is right there with the bow ground pound. Boomie and Remy had 3 stocks left still. And Pugsy, the focus on Pugsy, he was able to do 282 damage. Egg was able to do 339. How do you go from game 1 to game 2 to that?
Well, we saw in game 2, Remy had some difficulties. He kind of struggled to really put out a whole lot of damage. Game 3, it looked like he was struggling for a little bit, but then we saw him come out with those big ground pounds and the follow-ups. It ended up setting up into the side sig, and it looks like we are going to reset. Maybe the wrong map? I thought maybe they wanted to go like full mammoth, but it looks like it's not going to be a full mammoth grand finals. Instead, we are going to be resetting.
It's so mind-boggling to me how every game is its own unique thing. We saw eggsoup and Pugsy just 3-1 in the lower finals. That's a pretty dominating performance. And before, we saw Remy and Boomie 3-0 Egg and Pugsy. Also a dominating performance. Now we're seeing games that are completely even. We're seeing games that have early, just ridiculous gimps that build such a large lead that is just impossible to come back from. And then we have dominating performances from Remy and Boomie as well, like we just saw in that previous game. And it's incredible the mindset that these players have to be able to reset themselves and treat every game as if it's new.
It's solid. These guys have a lot of tournament experience. They've been in this position before many a time. They've been in the grand finals of sets. I mean, not only just against each other in rivalcades, but they also do it in 1v1s. They've fought each other just so many times. They know what it feels like to be in this position, and that experience is showing here, as every single game is a new game. Every single stock they come back, it's a new game. We've seen them be on their third stock they've been on their final stock, and the opponents have 2 each, and make commanding comebacks. It's just solid mental fortitude on all sides of these players.
And now we're coming in. Boomie's getting that axe again. He put out some serious damage last game with that axe. We'll see if he's able to continue that momentum this game as well. His bow play really kind of stepped it up last game, though. We saw a lot of bow play from both Boomie and Remy. We didn't necessarily see a lot of early gimps. We didn't see down air gimps. We didn't see sair gimps. But we saw some steady kills. We saw some recovery kills. We saw signature kills. And Remy actually kind of really stretched out his game and really put in a lot of unarmed. He was able to get kills with unarmed as well. So now we're seeing a much more even game. That's what I was talking about, with each game being extremely unique. Nobody's really ahead right now. The health is almost completely even. Boomie's going to get the first kill. If they can turn around and get this quick kill on Egg as well, Remy's there with the side signature from Koji getting that kill. There's a little bit of a lead. Boomie and Remy are both kind of orange. Boomie's getting into the red. Boomie's coming in to help his teammate. That is the synergy and friendship between Boomie and Remy coming into play. That is what the top tier 2v2 teams have that others just don't. It's the wherewithal to disengage from your opponent, come to help your teammate, even if that means hitting them to give them an extra jump. Maybe it's a weapon toss, maybe it's a recovery from below, maybe it's just being there to put pressure, but Boomie and Remy have that almost more than anyone else. We're still seeing Remy able to survive, though. Pugsy and eggsoup having a little bit of a tough time killing him. That's what eggsoup kind of really struggled with in the US East Regional Qualifier, was killing. He was able to put out a ton of damage, but he was struggling in the kill department. Luckily, he has Pugsy now, and Boomie's on his last stock. Remy's fresh on his second, but Boomie is in his last stock. There needs to be some kills coming into Pugsy and eggsoup.
Oh, good startup with that nair, but Boomie not able to follow up just in time. He knows it. He's got the axe. Axe has a little bit more kill potential. You know, he's got those sairs, those recoveries, but you need to connect with it, and you've also got to be careful because obviously Boomie recognizes that he's on his last stock and does not want to get taken down.
Boomie's actually done a great job of putting out a ton of damage. Both Pugsy and eggsoup have gone from orange into red, and Boomie has barely been touched.
Switching it up to the bow, that dare onto his teammate, not gonna help out. That nair, not enough. Pugsy gets a big nair to finish off Remy, and needs to finish off the stock of eggsoup ASAP. Get them down to their last stocks as well. Down sig for Remy, will do it for Pugsy. Air, that'll do it. Stocks have been evened up. Boomie is in the yellow. If he can not take too much damage, it won't be too terrible of a spot.
I want to think that the dare from Boomie when he hit Remy in the red was to send Remy to the other side of the stage to try and prevent the eggsoup edgeguard. The thing is, though, that Pugsy was there to rotate, and he was there to confirm the kill.
It's all about the follow-ups and the synergy and just the saves as Boomie goes low, but Remy doesn't even have to save him. Boomie still had a lot of options. He's trying to give room for Remy. Remy able to get room himself with that recovery, but it's just are looking dire for the blue team as Remy gets caught by the dare. Another dare. Boomie now has to do the 1v2.
Are we gonna see this 3-1 bracket reset for Pugsy and eggsoup? We are going to see the 3-1 bracket reset for Pugsy and eggsoup. Keep in mind, the last time they fought, they got 3-0'd by Boomie and Remy.
Well, it looks like there's not going to be a 3-0 this time for Boomie and Remy, as they just got 3-1'd by eggsoup and Pugsy. I like that Pugsy isn't messing around with the Sasuri anymore. He's like, all right, All right, I'll play Bodvar. eggsoup has been doing a great job with his Val. Boomie's been switching it up. He switched to the Azoth, and it looks like right now Remy might be switching it up as he is changing his skin. That's its own type of switch, right?
Remy scared me for a moment, because I don't think he has much in the tank beyond the Koji.
Rolling.
Remy?
Rolling.
Remy's rolling is...
Rolling. What? Rolling. Come on.
I think that other than like the meme that Limp Bizkit is, 80% of the audience is too young to know what that means.
Now I know y'all be loving this right here. Remy is gonna be sticking with the Koji. No rolling switch, not yet at least. Boomie is sticking with his Azoth, and Remy gets a nice downlight onto both opponents.
Boomie, his play has been, it's been steady, it's been consistent, but in these past few games, it hasn't been as explosive, and it hasn't been as effective as he was before. We saw him catch down signatures a lot more. We saw him catch side signatures on that bow a lot more, and we're kind of not seeing him catch them. We're seeing him throw them out, but he's not hitting them.
And we're seeing more signatures getting thrown out. There's a nice side sig from Remy. Oh, side sig from eggsoup answers back. Not enough to finish off the stock for Boomie, though. That was
nice
a
weapon toss into a nair. Taking a page out of Remy's book, the bounces and the ricochets, sending them off the main platform into the sky so you can follow up with an upwards aerial attack. That's been the calling card of Boomie and Remy so far.
It's just showing how much damage is getting put out, though, on every single side, that you can't finish with your standard finishes. You can't finish with a downlight Sarah or anything like that. Instead, you have to go for these kind of wonky bounce pass into kill combos.
Remy still being the one to stay alive. Boomie tends to be the one to die first. Boomie taking him out, but with that signature putting a decent amount of damage onto Pugsy. Pugsy getting very low on his second stock.
That side air will do it. I was gonna say the side sig would have been worth if it had taken down Pugsy with it, but at the end of the day, he still ended up cleaning up the stock. Is gonna keep his team alive. A stock advantage if they can finish, or well, they have the stock advantage, but if they can finish off this eggsoup kill, it'll be even more of an advantage. Not yet. No falling nairs for Remy. Interesting option.
The unarmed Sarah from the right side of the stage still isn't going to kill eggsoup yet. He does have that higher defense that's just really going to keep him into the game. He's really going to exploit that and extend his stocks as far as he possibly can.
And I'm not sure if Boomie registered that he didn't have a standard black hole weapon there, as Remy got a neutralite and Boomie threw out a neutralite, but it was with bow, which, you know, it doesn't work that way.
That's not going to help you with black holes there.
Well, right side, Pugsy gets a nice side air to finish off Remy. Stocks have been evened up once again between these players. They're just dead even.
And then hammer recovery from Pugsy.
He got the touch.
He ledge canceled the breakdance unarmed down sig. I'm pretty sure he was trying to follow up with a ground pound. It was an accidental ledge cancel.
That's got to be heartbreaking. Boomie is going to survive thanks to the safety net of that soft platform, giving Pugsy the ledge cancel. Bomb toss! Remy spot dodged it and almost got caught by it. eggsoup gets a nice downlight cider. Not going to finish off Boomie. Remy's going to put pressure out to make it so eggsoup cannot get the edge card onto Boomie.
And even with that pressure from Remy, Boomie disarmed himself by throwing that bow to eliminate like a really, really high ground pound coming out from eggsoup. There were edgeguard denials on both fronts. I don't actually know what just happened to Boomie, though.
I don't know. Remy wanted to go into position. You saw him kind of start moving his way down there. I'm surprised Boomie didn't just kind of spam down air. Sure, there's cooldown, but at the same time, it gives horizontal movement. But I guess he didn't fully get his touches back before he got knocked to the right side.
And now we're seeing eggsoup's sword against Remy's sword. Koji against Val. Both players in the red right now. I think Remy is more red. A downlight Sayer would probably kill him. I don't think a downlight Sayer would kill Egg at this point. There's the Sayer from on the main platform. And eggsoup and Pugsy take another game from Boomie and Remy. I want to see Boomie switch up the legends here.
There's the switch. He's going to Barraza. Says, I'm going to just be a little bit more of a tanky beef castle. Sticking with that axe. He had some solid success with that Azoth axe, and now he's got guns. And we've seen what Pugsy can do with Barraza and guns in a very safe and spacey kind of way.
I love Boomie's guns. I will put Boomie's guns over all day. He plays them with more variation than most other people. I absolutely love the way he pushes guns kit and uses all of the gun moves all of the time. There is always a situation where he can find a favorable gun move. He doesn't just fish for dares. He doesn't just jump Sair like Memoria. And it's just, he's able to use all the moves everywhere. And I absolutely love that variation, and that's why fighting Boomie's guns is so difficult.
Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have guns. He's got unarmed. He had the axe for a little bit, but he disarmed himself. Instead, wanted to go unarmed onto Pugsy. Now that Pugsy's disarmed and Boomie's got the guns, are we going to start seeing him go back to the edge guard?
I expect to see a lot of recoveries out of Boomie. We've already seen 2, but Boomie is one of those people that really breaches. That just, okay. He's going to side sig Boomie under the stage, just kind of giving him a free recovery.
And eggsoup cleans up the stock with a huge ground pound on the right side. Remy is going to completely respect his opponents, go to the far side, not even risk any sort of black holes.
And Boomie was kind of leaving Remy to fight the 2v1 there for a minute. He was kind of hanging out on the wall. I think he expected someone to come edge guard him, but both members, Boomie and Remy, have died. They finally picked up the kill onto Pugsy.
They've still got to take down this stock of eggsoup, though. Eggsoup has been he's just been extending his stock so much. Boomie might have the most defense in the game, but eggsoup just has the most survivability.
He's able to tank those hits. He's able to dodge the big hits. He's able to recover back in an unpredictable way. He has Pugsy there to help him, to put pressure on, to save him at times. And it's not even just Egg at that point. It's also help from Pugsy as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's solid team synergy overall. Pugsy able to position himself to not only relieve pressure for eggsoup, but as well as, you know, go down, get him with a sword recovery to continue that stock. Nice side stick from eggsoup. Nice dare from Pugsy to take down Remy. Eggsoup gets the dare, and he's in position in case Pugsy couldn't recover.
And there is another set of kills. Right now, they're trading 1 stock of Pugsy's for 2 stocks of Boomie and Remy. Boomie and Remy are on their final stock. Egg finally dying. Pugsy managing to stay safe, stay alive, and stay on a second stock.
Pugsy is the closest one to dead, but Remy and Boomie not even going for it. Instead, they're trying to focus down eggsoup a little bit. You're seeing Remy mostly just try to zone out Pugsy and then go for the 1v2 onto Ed.
We're actually not seeing a lot of success from Boomie's guns here. I don't know if it's just because this is in the 2v2 space and he doesn't have the room to play around like he does in 1v1, but we're not seeing a lot of success with his guns, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw lower damage numbers from him at the end of the game.
It could just be something as simple as he didn't have the warm-up time with the guns. You know, he's been playing Bodvar and Azoth. Neither of them have guns. He had some time to practice with that axe when he was playing that Azoth, but at the end of the day, it takes a little bit of time to get used to the different weapon sets. Nice ground pound from Pugsy.
Red team wins.
And that's another game for eggsoup and Pugsy. The egg train keeps on rolling. The pug train keeps on rolling. And looking
They Roland?
No.
They Roland?
You don't have to sing it again. You don't have to sing it again.
It's okay, because Remy hasn't picked it yet. He is going to be sticking with that Koji. Boomie goes back to the Bodvar, recognizes he didn't really have the success with the Azoth. And like you were saying, the egg and pug train is just pushing forward. They've got so much momentum now. They are essentially getting the run back.
And this is basically the tournament point. If eggsoup and Pugsy win this game, they 3-1'd Boomie and Remy, and then 3-0'd Boomie and Remy after getting 3-0'd themselves. The turnaround.
The first set was a bait.
The turnaround from eggsoup and Pugsy with pretty much the same thing. It's not even like they changed up characters or Boomie and Remy changed up characters or anything like that. The only really new thing we've seen from Boomie and Remy is Boomie's Barraza now. and Pugsy and eggsoup have just been able to adapt, and they've been able to do just the catch-up game so much better than Boomie and Remy have.
But we're seeing Boomie, now that he's switched back to the Bodvar, in the same way that Pugsy is just a little bit more comfortable with that Bodvar, Boomie showing some success with this hammer play. Not enough to finish off Pugsy, but enough to send Pugsy deep into the red, and he's going to try to get the edge guard onto eggsoup. Ground pound. No, not enough.
And he was looking for a nair follow-up. That surprises me a little bit over the recovery, because he was down on that platform. Finally hits the nair with the sword elevated in the air. It's enough to kill Pugsy. But they have to kill this eggsoup. That has been the story for Pugsy and Egg. Yeah, they get the stock from Pugsy, but eggsoup was able to survive, and he's finally died now. Boomie and Remy looking pretty good. Boomie getting into the orange, Remy in the yellow. Remy's survivability has just been really, really strong today.
Yeah, I think earlier on he had a little bit of trouble with that survivability. Pugsy gets a nice ground pound onto Boomie. But now that Remy's kind of recognized that, hey, I keep getting taken down a little bit too early and leaving Boomie in that 1v2, he's cleaned up his movement to make sure that he's playing safely, playing a little bit more aerially to avoid any big black hole potentials, and it's extending the stocks for him.
And Remy's ability to go from off the top of the screen safely back down to the platform without being touched has been phenomenal today. I completely admire that, and you have to respect the way when there are two enemies down below wanting to juggle you and kill you off the top. If you're able to dodge around them, use your dodge at the right time, use your momentum at the right time, and your movability at the right time to get back without being touched.
It's just impeccable needle threading from Remy. Fantastic movement. We saw him use that dare to completely redirect that groundward movement, but still make his way back down to the ground, where there's a little bit more safety against well, you got more jumps. This is essentially the safety net. But we're seeing Boomie and Remy. They've got the stock advantage now. eggsoup is in the orange again, but it's eggsoup. He's been extending stocks for so long.
And he's the one that I guess they're focusing right now. He has the most damage on him. If they can get this egg kill, then Pugsy, the one who's been the easier kills before, that could be the game right there.
Oh, and Pugsy not. He used all of his options, just barely got to the wall, and Boomie not able to catch him with that down sig. Both Pugsy and eggsoup are so insanely close to dead. That recovery is not enough. Dive without a neutral light to punish the gravity cancel side sig, and he gets a nair to finish off Pugsy. eggsoup is still alive, but it's a 1v2 against Boomie and Remy. He might have just taken down Remy, but he's so...
It's going to take more than a downlight stare to kill Boomie at this point. He is in kill percent, but that is Val. Val with that 4 force. It's going to take more than nothing to kill Boomie right now.
Oh, that was a big nair from Boomie, but I liked how eggsoup was playing that. He wasn't just tunnel visioning onto Remy to try to get a big gimp and get the 1v1 against Boomie. Instead, he catches the dare onto Remy and then looks up to fight off Boomie. He's not just going for the 1v1. He's going for 1v1, and then he'll turn around and go for the other 1v1 and back and forth.
And Pugsy, like last game, Boomie's Barraza put out, I think it was like 339 damage. This game, Pugsy's Bodvar only put out about 382 damage, and there wasn't any slack pickup from the other teammate. I want to see focus from Boomie and Remy. I want to see them focus Pugsy down, especially on this Asuri pick. Pugsy.
It seems like Pugsy, when he doesn't have success with one, he tries to alternate to the other. He didn't really have success that game just there with that Bodvar. So now he's mixing it up. He wants to go to the Asuri, just kind of mix up what his options are. He's still got that sword play, and I'd like to see him just kind of stick with the sword play. His guitar play hasn't really been successful, but his sword play is pretty strong. I'd like to see him just stick with it, and he might have a chance. He hasn't taken too much damage.
But the second he gets those Katars, he's ready to initiate, and he wants to initiate. He's not going to play passively or slow or defensively at that point. He just initiates and then takes so much damage just because he doesn't have the hitbox advantage. He doesn't have the range advantage. He may have frame advantage, but he doesn't have range advantage.
Well, he's sticking with the sword right now. As long as he doesn't get disarmed, he won't get stuck on the guitar. It will be his next weapon pickup. Goes for a gravity cancel neutral stick, but Boomie with that nair is going to disarm Pugsy, and now Pugsy's got to be in a little bit of a troublesome spot. He's got to clear this Qatar pickup, and then throw it away and switch to the sword. Got the Qatars, though. Gets caught by the neutral sig, and that will take him down. First stock going the way of Boomie and Remy.
And with the 50-50 weapon pickup now, you're guaranteed the opposite weapon on the next weapon you pick up. So you don't have the RNG that could sometimes work out in your favor. You also don't have it working against you, but when he throws down a sword that he just picked up, he's going to be forced into Qatars.
We're seeing he's not going to weapon deny. He's not going to try to starve the map. Instead, he's just going to try to punish the pickup from Boomie. But Remy is still on his first stock. Might be the lowest defense character in the game, or sorry, on the screen. But at the same time, he's just doing a great job extending these stocks, positioning himself where side air has to send him as far as possible off the map. But that down air from Boomie is going to take him down.
Boomie's looking for the edge guard on eggsoup, who just falls.
Is that an overcommitment from eggsoup? Ends up ground pounding?
That was an overcommitment from eggsoup there, who's going to fall with virtually no edge guard from Boomie. And with Remy coming fresh in on his second stock, that is a big lead for Boomie and Remy.
Boomie is in the red, but they've got the stock advantage. They just need to push this forward, and then we might be seeing a game 5 for Boomie and Remy after the reset. Yeah.
How ridiculous is it to see a game 5 in this set after a 3-0, a 3-1, and a 3-0?
Well, I'll tell you how ridiculous it is in just a little bit, because this is looking like a best of 5 going to game 5. eggsoup might be in the red. If they can take down eggsoup, it will be almost a guaranteed game 5. But it is eggsoup once again. He has been immaculate on extending these stocks, almost as immaculate as Remy.
Remy's still staying alive. eggsoup getting very dangerously low. eggsoup hitting that signature from the right side of the stage, sending Remy to the left. And that hammer recovery. Boomie didn't need that. There's the second time he's killed Remy.
All of Remy's deaths so far have been Boomie on hammer.
One of them was a dare, one of them was a recovery. Both sides straight up and straight down.
And eggsoup is still alive. He is he's been in the red for quite a while now, and just no kill combos coming out. Boomie got a nice down light, couldn't pick up the nair.
We're seeing Boomie fish for those nairs, though. He wants to kill off the top. He's even trying to gravity cancel a down light so he can go into a nair.
The simple fact that eggsoup has extended this stock for so long, it's keeping his team alive. But the double? No! Pugsy gets passed as eggsoup gets taken down, and the recovery from Remy will clean it up. We're going to a game 5 after the reset, after the 3-0s. This is game 5 of grand finals of this BCS 2v2, and it is absurd that we are at this point.
That's the second time today that like the final frames of a sword recovery have killed. That's ridiculous. You should never get to that point. That is not just necessarily kill inefficiency, but that's just I don't know what to call it. I guess stock efficiency of keeping yourself in a position to where you will not die. If you're on the right side of the platform, make sure your opponent is to the right of you, so they have to hit you all the way across the stage and all the way to the left kill box. It's keeping yourself, if your opponent is below you, it's making sure that they're very low, so if they hit a nair, that it's gonna make you go very, very high, all the way above the stage, all the way into the airspace, all the way into that kill box. And that's just positioning, not only for kills, but positioning to prevent your own deaths.
Solid positioning. Mostly, I'm noticing it more out of Remy and eggsoup. Just being able to position in ways where the general kills are you've got to just go max potential on those kills. But we're seeing everybody is already making their way into the red. Boomie's in the red. Pugsy's in the red. Boomie gets a stomp side air. Pugsy's not dead. eggsoup gets a nice punish onto Boomie, and the ground pound from Boomie. He still wanted that kill. He went deep for it.
Great follow-up there. He completely laser-honed his sights in on that kill. He followed it down. He didn't even worry about getting back to the main platform, getting safe. He just wanted the kill.
And that was I mean, that was stylish from Boomie and Remy to go for a mini black hole on a Pugsy. eggsoup thought Boomie was gonna still try to 1v1 him as he was the one with the most damage on him. So he went for a side sig, reading the dodge through, but Boomie just turned around, neutralized Pugsy for a little bit, and as eggsoup's coming back, he gets a side sig to finish off eggsoup, but eggsoup, it's a nice little unofficial double, takes down Boomie and Remy, and the stocks have been evened up.
Now, I'm not saying black holes are a bait for your other opponent to come in and then you turn around and hit them with a signature, but I'm not saying that's not what happened.
No, I mean, it makes sense, right? You don't want to let your teammate get caught in that black hole, so you do what you can to try to interrupt it, especially if you're unarmed. Your only option is to kind of get in there and try to hit the opponents out of it. But if your opponent's got the presence of mind, got the attention span, turns around and side sigs you, that is troublesome.
And that's the thing, you get a kill on the opponent who wasn't caught in, who was in the red, and you get the damage on the opponent who was caught in the black hole. So that's not a free 2 kills, but it's probably at least 1.5, 1 3/4, 1 2/3.
It's a win-win on the black hole player's side. If the opponent doesn't try to interrupt, you keep putting the black hole out. If the opponent does try to interrupt, you turn around, side sig them, throw them off the map, end up going back to the black hole if that doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, worst case scenario, you're getting a lot of damage out of it.
And nobody expects the premature black hole cancellation. Nobody expects that. You expect everyone to tunnel vision and extend the black hole as long as you possibly can. And Egg. We were talking about how he was able to extend his stocks for so long. We talked about it with Remy too. Remy kept it up, but eggsoup is the first to die here. And this is game 5 of the reset. This is literally do or die for Pugsy right here.
Pugsy, at this point, he can't tunnel vision onto Remy, despite the fact that Remy is the one in the red. Pugsy's got to be careful. That is death. Pugsy's done. There is no way he can come back. Boomie and Remy have done it. They've still got stocks in their name, despite the fact that Remy just SD'd there. It is all over after the reset, after the 3-1, after the 3-0. Boomie and Remy win it out in the grand finals of the 2v2 for NA.
Boomie and Remy have solidified themselves very much as the top 2v2 team in North America. There was the time when Pugsy and eggsoup were both out of town, so some people chalked that tournament up to, oh, well, the best players are out of town. This one doesn't necessarily count. Okay, so then Boomie and Remy came in and won the Rivalcade 2v2, beating out Pugsy and eggsoup. They have now come in a second tournament. They 3-0'd Pugsy and eggsoup in winners finals, and off to a shaky start, but eventually came back and won the grand finals again against Pugsy and eggsoup. Nobody can deny Boomie and Remy's position in the 2v2 space.
They are absolute monsters in this 2v2 setting. They are the dominant force of the 2v2 scene. Boomie and Remy have won it out over Pugsy and eggsoup once again in the 2v2, and they are going to be continuing on to the next NA 2v2, but before that, there is a lot of other 2v2s and 1v1s in between. Next up is going to be an EU 2v2.
I actually can't wait to see that. I wonder if the roster is going to be as ridiculously constantly changing as North America is.
I mean, it was insane. I mean, we saw some old mainstays, right? We saw the Boomie Remy combo, saw the Jellyfish Arkosh combo, but we also saw some mix-ups, right? We saw Twilight and Stevenator no longer together. Instead, Steve went up with Magma Bob. Twilight and Logic ended up going in, and they ended up getting pretty far in the bracket, ended up 3rd place. There was some mix-ups that we weren't quite expecting, at least.
And that's the thing that's so interesting about 2v2, and I'm so glad we're able to bring 2v2 to you on a somewhat weekly basis now, because the roster changes of it, the play style of 2v2, the way people understand 2v2 is just constantly changing. There is no constant but change here in the 2v2 setting.
Well, with that, once again, I want to congratulate Boomie and Remy for taking it out in 1st place. Congratulations to Pugsy and eggsoup for getting 2nd place, and congratulations to Twilight and Logic. I almost put their names together. Twilight and Logic for getting the solid 3rd place. And once again, we'd like to thank everybody who helped us out today. We want to thank Sloshula and White Cheapy behind the scenes. We also want to thank Foda as well as El Loco Doco. We also want to give a huge shout out to BMG for making this fantastic game and helping to fund the tournament and putting us up on their Twitch channel. I am Duke Designated Asian, and with me as always is
Sparky878.
Thank you guys for watching. You got anything else you want to say?
We'll see you later.